patient during the actual operation leads to better accuracy and more reliable results.
What about post-op? A lot of people worry about their range of motion and how fast they get it back and the work that goes into doing that part of it. Does the robotic aspect aid in making that part of the recovery better?
There are studies that do demonstrate that it does enhance the postoperative recovery, lead to better postoperative motion.
Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin has the best of everything. They have the best imaging, the best physical therapy. It's not just about the surgery. Can you talk about the importance of having top-tier physical therapy, state-of-the-art imaging, the other things that go along with surgery?
Well, all this really ties into a better outcome for the patient. Getting that patient up the day of surgery is really critical. Getting them walking with the best type of physical therapist that we have to offer, that all gets them a better jump start at the time of surgery. I think what's really paramount at the orthopedic hospital is just how excited everyone is to sort of be there and take care of the patients in front of us.
Here's what you need to do. This is very simple. Go to the website, ohow.com. It's Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin. So the website is ohow.com. Request an appointment right there. You hit that button and start your journey to feeling better. Dr. Jesse Bowens, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA and founder of the Neal Group. So the big, beautiful bill is now law. How does the new law affect individuals? For starters, the current tax rates topping out at 37% are made permanent. Taxpayers age 65 or older get an extra $6,000 deduction, but with a phase-out. Social Security is still taxable as it has been. You heard me. Social Security is still taxable depending on your income. Individuals may deduct up to $25,000 in qualified tip income. Up to $12,500 of the premium for overtime pay is deductible. Of course, there are restrictions. You earned it. We help you keep it. Call 414-325-2040 now to set up a meeting to see how you are affected by these and other provisions of the new law. Don't be surprised on April 15th. That's 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net.
Breaking news as it happens. Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's noon. I'm Jessica Tighe. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Monday, September 15th. Your top story, more security after social media backlash.
I'm Adam Roberts in for Greg Matzik, running for governor again.
Today, what a lovely Monday. Mostly sunny, warmer inland. We have a high of 76 near the lake, 81 inland. Tonight, mostly clear. We'll dip down to 63 for the low. It is currently 74 degrees in downtown Milwaukee. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, Elkhorn schools are tightening security today after a viral social media firestorm. Superintendent Jason Tadlock says hundreds of threatening messages poured in after a Facebook post falsely connected an administrator to a comment about Charlie Kirk's death. Tadlock tells WTMJ safety remains a top priority.
We're going to continue school as scheduled, which we have pretty secure procedures within our school district, but we are going to have an increased law enforcement presence at all of our school sites in partnership with the Sheriff's Department and the Elkhorn City PD. So they're providing great support.
The district says no threats were made against schools or students. All messages to staff have been referred to local law enforcement.
The security uptick comes as several Wisconsin workers are facing backlash over social media posts about Kirk's death.
In Milwaukee, Nextdoor Childcare fired an employee who criticized Kirk's pro-gun views online. In Wausau, nonprofit leader Callie Wolk lost her positions after posting well-deserved with clapping emojis. A Laconia High School teacher is on leave for calling Kirk a racist and white nationalist. In Cudahy, the school district is investigating an employee over a social media post made outside school hours. And in Elkhorn, an associate principal was falsely accused after her photo was misused in a viral post. The district confirmed she had no role. Nazir Spencer, WTMJ News.
Decision, Wisconsin. A state senator launches a run for governor.
I'm Kelda Royce, and for 25 years, I've been fighting for Wisconsin alongside you and delivering.
Kelda Royce previously ran for governor in 2018, finishing third in the Democratic primary. She's now the fourth Democrat to enter the race following Governor Tony Evers' decision to not seek a third term.
Now, with everything on the line, Wisconsin needs a governor who's been training for this moment her whole career and who knows how to deliver.
There are currently 2 Republicans who have announced campaigns, while others in both parties are still considering a run. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
A deal in the works to keep TikTok in the U.S. could be finalized later this week. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said President Trump and Chinese Premier Xi Jinping would speak Friday on the deal with the goal to switch to U.S. ownership. China's official news agency reporting the sides have reached the, quote, basic framework consensus. During the Biden administration, Congress and the White House used national security grounds to approve a U.S. ban on the social media platform unless its Chinese parent company ByteDance sold its controlling stake.
The clock is ticking on an agreement on a new spending bill. CBS's Nicole Killian has more on the latest budget negotiations.
You have some Democrats, particularly Democratic leaders, who say they are not going to back a bill unless it's bipartisan and includes some provisions to deal with health care. They're still upset about those Medicaid cuts in the big, beautiful bill. Also, a big deadline coming up at the end of the year to potentially extend subsidies from the Obamacare or Affordable Care Act. That's something that's important to Democrats.
Republicans are considering a short-term stopgap spending measure to avoid a September 30th shutdown, extending spending until November 20th.
News about your money now, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Modest gains for the big three as we start the afternoon. The Dow is up just about 6 points, so basically at even for the day at 45,843. The NASDAQ, meanwhile, up about 0.8%, up 175 at 22,316. And the S&P 500, they're up 26 at 6,610. Financial planning at every level, Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com.
A big weekend for the Milwaukee Brewers. What's next? Sports, traffic, and weather right after this. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 12:04. News is sponsored by Ellie Mental Health. Visit elliementalhealth.com.
The Mental Health Minute.
Adulthood, that magical time in life when just one drink turns into 3 and maybe a few questionable texts. When I deserve this becomes a nightly mantra and your coping skills include wine, doom scrolling, and stress cleaning the floorboards. I'm Megan, a therapist at Alley Mental Health, and we see you. Maybe your relationship with substances has gotten a little bit too cozy. Maybe it's starting to affect your sleep, your relationships, your job, or just your ability to remember where you left your keys. Substance use doesn't have to hit rock bottom to be worth talking about. Therapy can help you to unpack what's really going on underneath the habits, to build healthier coping skills, and to feel more in control of your life. If you're ready to stop surviving on caffeine, denial, and vibes alone, let's talk. At Ellie Mental Health, we've got your back.
This has been the Mental Health Minute. Get started on your mental health journey today at elliementalhealth.com.
Hey, boaters! Some call 'em oddball parts, but we call them a huge part of our inventory. Dave Doro here from Kendor Marine. With thousands of boat parts and supplies stacked right here in our store, you won't have to look elsewhere. If you need it, chances are we got it, along with expert advice to get your job done right. Hey, boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Hey, boaters!
It's a boater's do-it-yourselfer's dream store. Kendor Marine stocks thousands of boat parts and supplies. Just about everything you'd ever need to keep your boat up and running. Whether it's common or something you think might be discontinued, you can bet on us having it. So don't be surprised when we have just what you need. I'm Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
The playoff-bound Milwaukee Brewers lost the final game of their home series. Milwaukee fell 3-2 to the St. Louis Cardinals. The Brewers have the night off tonight before hosting the Los Angeles Angels on Tuesday. They remain 5.5 games ahead of the Cubs at the top of the NL Central. And a loss for the UW Badgers, falling 38-14 to the Alabama Crimson Tide on the road. The Badgers will be back home Saturday to host Maryland to open Big Ten play. Badger Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited. Siding and a whole lot more.
Let's check the roads now. Your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Going over the map, no major incidents, just a smattering of broken down vehicles. You will see a little bit of a touch of slow traffic on 4145 heading south from Capitol Drive down to about Burleigh. So a very short stretch, and then you are in the free and clear. Everywhere else is looking very good. A nice start to the afternoon drive. No other major incidents or delays.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. It's really a fabulous one. Today, mostly sunny, warmer inland. We have a high of 76 near the lake, 81 inland. Tonight, mostly clear. We only drop down to 63 for the low. Tomorrow, mostly sunny again. We've got a high of 83 inland tomorrow. Wednesday, mostly sunny. That's pretty much how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly sunny, mostly sunny, mostly sunny until partly cloudy on Friday. And that's no big deal.
No.
Partly cloudy means partly sunny, doesn't it?
More or less.
We have a high of 72 on Friday. And right now, we're currently sitting at 74 degrees in Milwaukee.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Tighe, and in for Greg Metzik, it's Adam Roberts.
Speaking of that nice weather, we hope you had a fabulous weekend because it was just gorgeous. Did you get out there and enjoy it, Adam?
I did. So this past weekend was my 32nd birthday on Saturday.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. So we were out at the Brewer game, and boy, what a great game to be at on Saturday. I will be perfectly honest. It was the top of the 8th, 6-2, and I saw the trickle of people start to make their way out to the parking lots.
Oh, you can never do that.
And boy, if you left early, you missed quite a dandy of a ball game. And as you mentioned in the sportscast, still 5.5 up over the Cubs. A lot of work still to do, though. We got the Angels. They are in it's safe to say, quite a down stretch these last few years, and especially now. So let's get those wins.
We were so close to going to the game, and I knew it was going to be a good one. They had a good giveaway, too, didn't they?
Yeah, it was crew neck giveaway, and no joke, Jessica. So my wife and I were going into the home plate entrance area. As soon as we get scanned in, the lady who was working the giveaway flipped over the last box, and it was empty. Sorry, folks, we're all out. And typical. When we walked up, I was wondering, why are the lines so long? Must be a giveaway. And then, I saw them all over the field. I will say, though, putting the font as the same color as the crew sweater was definitely a choice. It was hard to read Milwaukee Brewers on the sweaters. They look nice,
though. I thought that was part of the fashion, but I can see where you're going there. The Brewers have been so good with their giveaways this year, I'll tell you that. We were this close to going to the game on Saturday, but decided to go sailing instead, and that was another awesome choice because to be out on the water, it was a fabulous weekend. So we hope you had a great weekend. We've got a big show coming up for you. Let's get to it.
It's now at noon on Wisconsin's Midday News.
She ran for Wisconsin governor in 2018. Now she's doing it again. Today, Wisconsin State Senator Kelda Roys announced she's entering the race for Wisconsin governor. In her campaign video, she said extremists are putting our nation's democracy at risk.
Wisconsin, we're in the fight of our lives for our democracy and our kids' future. But I've been in this fight before. When Scott Walker attacked Wisconsin workers, I was there. Now, as extremists attack our freedoms while families struggle to get by, we're fighting back together.
We never contemplated having such a lawless person at the helm of our country.
Kelda Roys is an attorney and small business owner. She represents Madison in the state Senate. Roys joins a growing list of gubernatorial candidates. Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley, and longtime beer vendor Ryan Sternad on the Democratic side. Washington County Executive Josh Shulman and business owner Bill Berrien are the candidates announced so far on the Republican side. Governor Tony Evers is retiring at the end of his term.
The future of TikTok in the U.S. may be secure.
We have a framework for a TikTok deal.
In other words, the concept of a plan. That's U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent earlier this morning announcing the framework agreement and that President Trump would meet with Chinese leader Xi Jinping on Friday, as you heard in the top of the hour news. Now, here's what we don't know. The identity of the U.S.-backed buyer, which had been a stipulation of getting a deal done. ByteDance, the Chinese parent company, had to be sold to a U.S. buyer. Now, there is speculation possibly an Oracle executive, his name's Larry Ellison, could be the buyer, but that has not been confirmed at all. The president has multiple times extended a self-imposed deadline to have China sell at least part of that company to a U.S. dealer. Recall, of course, the day the internet stood still earlier in January.
Babe, what is happening?
I'm really sad.
Why? What is happening?
TikTok's getting banned!
Vince Vitrano and his daughters reacting in real time the day the internet stood still, January 18th. So again, the framework of a deal seems to be in the works, but nothing official as of yet. We'll keep a close eye on it.
There are a lot of people who make a living off of TikTok, so there was real concern initially. Now I feel like, that concern doesn't seem to be so much there anymore.
And social media moves so fast. Who knows when the next TikTok will come along to make a quick buck on?
Yeah, good point. The Federal Reserve is expected to cut interest rates this week when it holds its September meeting. This as the jobs market is showing signs of a slowdown. Cutting interest rates has been one tactic used by the Fed to jumpstart hiring. But ABC's Rebecca Jarvis explains cutting interest rates too much could lead to even more inflation.
The Fed has to balance a weakening jobs market with hiring slowing and inflation, which is still high in some categories, especially at the grocery store. You see it in coffee, ground beef, and apples.
Fed is expected to cut interest rates by 0.25%, meaning it gets a little bit cheaper to borrow money. Think lower credit card APRs, less expensive car loans. This can also impact mortgage rates, which have been moving lower in anticipation. Earlier this month, the average 30-year fixed-rate mortgage hits its lowest level, or it did hit its lowest level since 2024. 2024, though, just last year. Stay close. It's our Economic Spotlight coming up next. 12:13 is the time. News is sponsored by Flanners Home Entertainment. Visit them at flanners.com. Sound advice at the best price. Just press play.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik here for Flanners Home Entertainment. Does the audio and video system in your home need an upgrade? Well, Flanners has all the solutions and the installation experts to simplify and upgrade your home entertainment experience. Forget about the impersonable big box stores and risky online purchases. You go with locally owned Flanners, where quality service, the best brands, and guaranteed best price remain top priorities. Stop by Flanners in West Dallas, Grafton, or at flanners.com. Sound advice at the best price. Just press play.
Clean up on fall lawn and garden deals this week at Fleet Farm. Add a little color to your porch with 8-inch mums for just $7.99. Tackle those leaves with Troopers 20-inch steel or 24-inch poly rake. Your choice, only $7.99. And prep your lawn for winter with Superior Winterizer Lawn Fertilizer, just $16.99 a bag. Get a jump on fall with the gear you need at the best prices guaranteed at Fleet Farm. And check out even more deals at fleetfarm.com.
Hi, this is Bruce Nemovitz, Senior Real Estate Specialist and founder of Bruce's Team. We understand that moving from your longtime home can feel overwhelming. Ready for a smaller space, warmer climate, want to live closer to the grandkids, or you're just sick of the upkeep? From downsizing to preparing your home for sale, our team has guided over 3,000 families through the transition. Bruce's Team helps you every step of the way. Let us take you from overwhelmed to I can do this. Visit brucesteam.com today.
So, Alex, why don't you tell us about Lion's Tail?
We've been brewing for 10 years, and now we're busy expanding into Milwaukee, trying to get on every shelf of every store and on tap at every restaurant.
How has Horicon Bank been a part of your story?
Horicon Bank understands the needs of small businesses versus working with a big bank. Horicon, they're much like a small business, just like we are. I know most of the people on that team. It's nice working with someone that understands your business.
We are taking care of business right now with the Economic Spotlight. In for Tim Sheehy today, Ryan Amundsen from the MMAC. Thanks for joining us on this beautiful Monday.
It is a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Don't you wish we could kind of like jump outside like they used to do back in the day in school? Be like, let's take this discussion outside today.
An outdoor session today. That would be great.
That would be nice. Hey, speaking of outside, a court ruling just paused the EPA's stricter air rules for southeastern Wisconsin. This is something the MMAC has kind of been fighting for, 7 or 8 months now?
Yeah, in collaboration with a lot of other economic development groups around the state. But yeah, let me set the table a little bit here. So as part of the Clean Air Act, they have what they call non-attainment zones across the country. And we are sitting in a non-attainment zone here. It stretches from the state line up to about Sheboygan. And what that means is in this zone, we have been classified as moderate as far as those standards goes when it comes to clean air. Back in the winter, we were bumped up to serious, which means higher costs for manufacturers, businesses in that region to mitigate the pollution that they're producing, which is very expensive. Here's the rub, though. Most of the air that's being read or recorded is coming from out of state. Most of those pollutants are coming from Indiana and Illinois. So what the MMAC and, like I said, several other economic development groups from around the state, as well as the DNR, have asked courts to suspend that ruling or to suspend those rules or that classification, and they did last week. So at the moment, we're back at moderate, and in October, the courts will be looking at that once again to decide on which direction we're going to be going as far as that classification goes.
Can you speak a little bit more about that point you mentioned about where this bad air is coming from? Because I know when the conversation comes up about emissions testing, a lot of people who are frustrated that we still in this portion of the state have to do it and other areas don't. We talk a lot about, well, the pollution is coming from outside of our area.
Sure.
We have a pretty big metro area just to our south.
Yeah, and I'm not a meteorologist, so I'm not an expert in that area. But from what I understand, those pollutants catch a jet stream up Lake Michigan, and then the recording devices are close to the lake, and that's where that's being recorded. And so again, the vast majority of those pollutants are coming from out of state, which we just want a science-based strategy when it comes to those classifications. There's not a lot businesses can do when the pollutants are coming from out of state, and it's very expensive, and it's harming our economic development here in southeastern Wisconsin.
Something else in the business world, President Trump just called for ending quarterly earnings reports, and I think this one is interesting because Nancy and Bob listening right now aren't paying attention to all of the quarterly earnings reports, but every once in a while, and of course here we like to pay attention to our local businesses and the Wisconsin businesses, right? But some people would say, well, I don't need to know every time, there's an earnings report that's out there. Trump now saying he wants to end the quarterly earnings reports. What should people know?
Yeah, there's a lot of investment geeks out there that are looking forward to those quarterly earnings reports just so they know, what the trends are and where the businesses that they're investing in are going. I know several people that work for publicly owned companies, and I know these quarterly earnings reports are very labor intensive and time intensive for them too. So it's really two sides to this story. It's funny. The Trump administration is saying that there would be more publicly traded companies if you moved to every 6 months instead of quarterly reports. In fact, as of right now, publicly traded companies in the U.S., they number about 3,700 as of late June. That's down about 17% from 3 years ago. So they're trying to help these publicly traded companies really focus on what they do best and not having to work on reporting every quarter.
Like these numbers every quarter, yeah. And sometimes it makes you wonder, too. I mean, would a better snapshot be 6 months?
Yeah, possibly. And again, I think that's what the administration is looking at right now.
It's designed to be the electric X3.
All right. Don't know where that came from.
I thought that was you.
No, that was not. But it's very interesting. We'll have to revisit that later. I did want to follow up on this because in that data, Ryan, that you mentioned from the Center for Research and Security Prices, that the number of publicly traded companies are down 17%. It indicates that the peak was around the late 90s. What has happened in this roughly 25, 30-year window since then that has kind of brought upon this desire for a change?
That's a really good question, and I'm not an expert in that area, so I don't know if I can answer your question. I'm not exactly sure why that trend is the way it is.
Okay, that random soundbite, that rogue soundbite that just played, I could be wrong, but I thought it said something about EVs, and if it did, it's like somebody was reading our minds because we did want to talk about the market for used EVs. It's kind of taken off right now, and for a while, EVs were taken off, and then they weren't, and you had changes with tax credits. So what's the latest?
Yeah, their used electric vehicle sales are up 40% from last year.
That's significant.
Yeah, and there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, the technology is changing so much. So the battery power, where you used to be able to get 200 miles per charge, now you can get 300 or 400 miles per charge. So the value of those used electric cars isn't what it used to be, right? Because the technology moves so quickly. Also, there is a tax credit that's coming due, that's going to be expiring by the end of this month. You get $4,000 tax credit, which can be applied to these vehicles that sell for $25,000 or less. That was a Biden-era tax credit, and that's coming to an end in September.
I will say a counterpoint to that, the technology gets older. So we're a one-car household in our house, and my wife drives an 06 Prius, which is not admittedly a fully EV. It was a hybrid and a very early one at that. that thing's still kicking close to 300,000 miles, and we will get every last leg out of that that we can.
Yeah, well, with the battery power getting much better as technology moves forward too. Those ones that you can get for the batteries that are charged for 200 miles or so, good for tooling around town, right?
Yeah.
Might be a good car for a teenager to have if they're going to school and work and whatnot. So yeah, the market is really good for used electric vehicles right now.
My husband is always saying, you live downtown, you work downtown, you play downtown, an EV would be perfect for you because you're not going super far most times. I'm curious, over at the MMAC, since you guys are talking with so many businesses and you just have, that wide net, do you guys talk about EVs? Do you know? I mean, I know you don't have any data on like how many people are driving EVs, but in conversation, do you just chat about it and find out that, there are quite a few people in our area who have them?
Yeah. Well, anecdotally, I know I've talked to several people who were looking for used EVs. I think there were a couple people up in the office that were doing the same, just because the costs are so good, even compared to gas-powered vehicles.
Yeah, and you're finding, more spots to be able to charge up. So I think that helps. It makes people feel a little bit better. There is a concern. I know this is something that my husband has brought up. He's like, I'm wondering about the winters, our Wisconsin winters and the batteries and how that's going to work. But obviously, I mean, people have been driving them in previous Wisconsin winters, so they must be working at some capacity.
And the technology is getting better and better, but you got to do it now if you want to get that tax credit.
Oh, there you go. All right, Ryan Amundsen from the MMAC, thanks so much for joining us on this Monday.
Appreciate it.
The Economic Spotlight is sponsored by Horicon Bank, the natural choice, doing banking differently in Wisconsin since 1896. Visit horiconbank.com. It's 1224.
I know you have a great dog, right? But you know there's room for improvement. At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we can help. Our attention-based training system uses modern technology to help you better communicate with your dog, even in high distraction. When you schedule a free consultation with us, you will have the opportunity to see our training in action and meet for yourself our happy dogs off leash and under control. Contact Sit Means Sit today at 262-361-3641 or find us on the web at sitmeansitwaukesha.com to schedule your free consultation so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog.
For those with a warm weather fashion passion, try St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores because that's where you'll find a vast array of men's, women's, girls, and boys' warm weather apparel at the friendliest prices. So many choices and at such a value. You can fill the closet without draining your wallet. Shop warm weather fashions at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Are you sick of not being your bank's top priority? We are too. At Wintrust, we take a different approach to banking. We're proud to be your one true banking partner focused on your unique financial goals. That's right in your backyard. Whether you're opening your first account, buying a home, planning for the future, or starting a business, we have tailored solutions to get you there. Stop settling and start experiencing a better way to bank at wintrust.com. Wintrust, different approach, better results. Banking products provided by Wintrust Financial Corp. Banks. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Vince Vetrano for Matrix Basement Finishing. Transition is a natural part of life and a great time to update your home. Turn that unfinished lower level into a playroom for the kids. Or transition. Kids are moving out. Time to reclaim the downstairs for your she space or man cave. Transition. Kids are moving back. Add a bedroom or a bath to the basement. Share your vision with my team at Matrix, and they'll take care of the rest. For special pricing, visit matrixbasements.com/VITRANO Vetrano.
Supporters and friends gathered last night for a prayer vigil at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. Several Trump aides and cabinet officials were among those honoring the conservative activists. Vice President J.D. Vance today hosting Kirk's podcast. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers with the latest.
Vice President Vance spoke about Charlie Kirk as his friend and highlighted what he said was Kirk's incredible influence in conservative politics as Vance hosted Kirk's podcast on Monday afternoon.
He was a critical part of getting Donald Trump elected as president, getting me elected as vice president. And so much of our success over the last 7 months is due to his efforts, his staffing, his support, and his friendship.
Vance also echoed recent comments from President Trump, saying he believes that, quote, left-wing extremism contributed to Kirk's death. The motives of the suspect, Tyler Robinson, remain unclear. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
And then over the weekend, you saw Kirk's wife speaking for the first time, and you just can't imagine being in her shoes.
Not at all. Family, wife, and children also. I think for the kids, especially as I've been thinking about this event and seeing the reaction from the younger generation of conservatives, specifically in reaction. And then I think about family and children having to now live without a father in their lives.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what side of politics you're on. At the end of the day, this was a man who was a husband and a father, and certainly taken too soon. Well, in the wake of the Charlie Kirk assassination and political violence being on the rise, I reached out to a Wisconsin group that's trying to do something about it. So coming up in our next hour, we have a rep from WisAct who's going to join us to talk about the state of political violence in our country, how the group is trying to stop it, and the political de-escalation training that it conducts. So you can look forward to that coming up in our next hour. It is now 12:28 on the dot. Coming up next, local news and top national headlines.
And now, about your house. Eric Brown is the president of Siding Unlimited, your contractor for new windows, roofing, siding, decks, and a whole lot more. He knows about your house. So what do you know, Eric?
Recently, Siding Unlimited installed new windows in a home, and the homeowner loved the experience. Linda W. said, I was extremely satisfied with the service that was provided by Siding Unlimited. I had a new roof and new windows installed in my house. Linda loved that she chose the right company for peace of mind. She also loved the colors. Larry, another Siding Unlimited customer, was thrilled with the experience. Larry's home looks brand new. Go to our Siding Unlimited Instagram page and see our pinned message to listen to Larry's testimonial, but also see his house. Again, Siding Unlimited, knocking it out of the park. Looking for new windows, siding, roofing, and doors? Visit the 5-time Pella Platinum Premier National Window Contractor of the Year winner at sidingunlimited.com. Definitely listen to Larry on Instagram at Siding Unlimited LLC.
Eric and his crews at Siding Unlimited are your go-to contractor here for roofing and also replacement windows, decks, and of course siding. They've done it all at the Matzik households over the years. It started with windows, transforming our 1953 Milwaukee home into something beautiful. And then, on our new house, brand new LP Smart Side siding. Built 8 years ago, our house still looks brand new. Make sure to connect with Eric about patio projects as well. They've expanded our outdoor living space to an area fit with a beautiful cedar pergola, paver patio, gas fire pit, and more. The best in lighting? I can control it from my phone. All there at Siding Unlimited. Truly siding and a whole lot more. Take the next step and check them out at sidingunlimited.com. Siding Unlimited. Truly siding and a whole lot more.
It's 12:30. I'm Jessica Tighe. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Monday, September 15th. Your top story, personal remembrances of a slain activist.
I'm Adam Roberts. One last week for a Milwaukee community staple.
Mostly sunny today, warmer inland. We have a high of 76 near the lake, 81 inland.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Russia continuing to target Ukrainian cities, and Ukraine is targeting Russia's oil. President Trump now calling on NATO countries to add sanctions against Russia, saying the U.S. will also join. ABC's Mary Bruce has details.
He's also demanding NATO members stop buying Russian oil and gas. For weeks, the president has threatened Russia with economic consequences, but never followed through, blowing past his own deadlines.
Authorities in Utah say Tyler Robinson, the suspect in the fatal shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, could be formally charged as soon as tomorrow. A motive for the killing still unknown. Vice President J.D. Vance today serving as host for Kirk's weekly podcast, calling Kirk a friend. Maureen Comey has filed a lawsuit claiming her firing as U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of New York was unlawful and unconstitutional. Comey, the daughter of former FBI Director James Comey, called the firing by President Trump and the Justice Department politically motivated. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 12:31.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, remembering conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Former Congressman Joe Walsh recalls advising Kirk to stay true to his principles, even as he joined the Trump campaign and took on high-profile roles.
We're having coffee after Trump won, and Charlie knew that if he stayed and he committed to Trump, then he couldn't criticize Trump when Trump went against things he believed in, and he'd have to give up a lot of what he believed in. He'd have to give up his principles. He knew that, and he asked me for advice, and I said the most important thing is to hold on to your principles and do and say what you believe.
Walsh telling WTMJ Kirk's early dedication to political activism showed maturity beyond his years.
This week, the last week for Milwaukee's River West Co-op and Cafe.
The local grocery store and community hub will officially close on Sunday. Despite donations and loans, the co-op couldn't overcome financial challenges from the COVID-19 pandemic and growing competition from other natural food stores. The board of directors decided at a meeting last week that they would shut down the business instead of filing for bankruptcy, and no one had offered to buy the business. The co-op has been owned by members and run by volunteers for 24 years. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Filling out the leadership team at Milwaukee Public Schools. Superintendent Dr. Brenda Caselius appoints Brian Litzy as Chief Family, Community, and Partnership Officer. Dominic Maniscalzo as the new Chief Human Resources Officer. And Dr. Keely Roberts is the new Chief of Schools. All three complete roles required by the MPS operational audit ordered by the governor. Even though all three have already started in their jobs, their final approval still has to come from the Milwaukee Board of School Directors.
Wisconsin consumers facing a new tech support scam. The scammers using fake pop-ups to try to get remote access and trick victims into wiring them money. Michelle Ryan at the Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection tells WTMJ.
Disregard the pop-up. Do not react to it. Do not call the phone number in the pop-up message or click any links that may be present there. Then run your antivirus software to see if you do have any problems with your computer.
Anyone who thinks they are being scammed is advised to call the Consumer Protection Hotline.
September is Suicide Prevention Month, and Milwaukee County is spotlighting ways to save lives and support those impacted.
Suicide prevention is a spectrum from early warning signs to long-term support for survivors.
There are many services, post-intervention services, available through the Medical College of Wisconsin, through Milwaukee County Behavioral Health Services, and other partners.
Dr. Sarah Kolbeck, Director of Suicide Research and Healing at the Medical College of Wisconsin.
We've really been able to develop relationships with organizations across the community that are maybe outside kind of traditional mental health services to help folks experience the support and the recovery that they need.
Officials say combining crisis care with long-term support ensures help individuals need to heal. Nizer Spencer, WTMJ News.
A day off for the playoff-bound Brew Crew before the Halos head to town. Sports, traffic, and weather on the way next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Times, 1234.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Bank 5-9 has a mission to make lives better. They make it a priority to give back to their customers, communities, and their employees. In fact, Bank 5-9 was just honored again by the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel as a top workplace. That makes 16 years in a row. Want to learn more about working with the great people at Bank 5-9? Visit bank59.com/careers. Equal Opportunity Employer, member FDIC.
Back to school means back to savings with Exterior Pros and Baths. Right now, get $3,000 off your roofing, your siding, your windows, or your bath project during the fall savings event. Don't wait. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com to claim your $3,000 savings and book your free estimate. Exterior Pros and Baths, Wisconsin's trusted home improvement experts. Trust the pros.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Yeah, how about those Brewers? Yeah, well, they did lose one. Milwaukee Brewers took 2 out of 3 from the Cardinals, dropping the series finale Sunday 3-2. But the team is still riding high after clinching a playoff berth over the weekend.
The Brewers are officially postseason bound, and now the power of friendship can reach a whole new level. Christian Yelich explains.
We're this kind of team because of how much we care for each other and how we play for each other and how good of friends we are. We have the opportunity to be friends for life, right? We go and do this whole thing and go where we want to go. Everybody in this room is friends for life.
His speech from the post-game celebration as the Brewers toasted to the 7th trip to the playoffs in the last 8 years. From American Family Field, I'm Dominic Cotroneo.
It's a day off today for the Brew Crew. They start a 3-game series against the Angels tomorrow night at American Family Field.
To the roads we go, your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Our lone slow spot right now is where you may expect it to be, 4145 through that construction zone. Silver Spring all the way down to Burleigh is going to be a touch slow right now, adding about an extra 2 to 3 minutes on your ride from Highway Q down towards the zoo. Also, just noticing now a little bit of a slow spot right on 43 on the Rock Freeway. This is going to be just southwest of Moreland. I'm not seeing any accidents related to this, but it is quite a parking lot right around Calhoun. And then once you get past about Racine Avenue, it does start to open up a little bit. But just be mindful, it's a slow go. We'll work to see if there's anything impacting this drive right now.
Checking out the WTMJ 5-day forecast. It is just a lovely forecast. We're talking about mostly sunny for 4 of the 5 days. Mostly sunny today, warmer inland. We have a high of 76 near the lake, 81 inland. Tonight, mostly clear. We'll dip down to 63 for the low. Tomorrow, mostly sunny again, high of 83 inland. Wednesday, mostly sunny, high of 78. Thursday, we're dipping down just a bit, but a high of 77, mostly sunny again. Friday, partly cloudy. Partly cloudy. I was telling Adam, that means it's partly sunny too, though, right? We're looking on the bright side here in Wisconsin's Midday News. High of 72 on Friday, excuse me. It's currently 74 degrees in Milwaukee. Are you scratching mosquito bites? Well, you're not supposed to, but it's hard not to sometimes.
It's so hard. I mean, we were all told that as a child. Don't scratch, going to make it worse. Yeah, all right, well, you're not the one who has 5 bites on their arm now.
Were you ever taught to put an X in the bite?
I was not. That's new to me.
It's a little old-fashioned, but I was taught that as a kid because it's not as bad as itching, I guess, and it does help for a little bit until it itches again. Well, the standing water from our historic flooding here in southeastern Wisconsin, it created the perfect atmosphere for mosquitoes to lay their eggs. Then they hatched and the mosquitoes attacked. Some people said the numbers were the worst they'd ever seen. Then we got a dose of fall-like weather a couple weeks ago, and I thought, okay, maybe that cooler weather, might cut down on the numbers. But now here we are, the 80s are back. So it had me wondering, will our late summer heat mean another big batch of mosquitoes? Let's go to the experts. We've got Dr. Lyric Bartholomew, the director at the Midwest Center of Excellence for Vector-Borne Disease, on the line with us. Thanks for joining us, Lyric.
Absolutely. Thanks for making time to talk mosquitoes.
Yes. So what is the status of the mosquito population in areas around Wisconsin that got flooded? And should we be concerned about another batch now that the warm weather is back?
What you saw was that the ground was just inundated with water, right? And there were so many places in Milwaukee where the river was rising or there was just so much water that came out of the sky. Didn't you get many, many inches in a single day?
Oh, it was historic.
Right. So there's nowhere for that water to go. And when there's standing water, mosquitoes take advantage and come and lay their eggs. Or the standing water allows eggs to hatch that were left behind on the ground in years prior. So you had this just really unbearable situation where I heard from a lot of folks that it was just miserable to be outside, right? Just bite after bite. Most of those mosquitoes, fortunately, were what we call nuisance mosquitoes that come out after floods. We actually even call them floodwater mosquitoes. So we get large numbers of these aggressive biters, and it's really miserable for a while. Once the ground dries up, and you guys will have to tell me because I'm in Madison, not Milwaukee, But here the ground is starting to be a little bit crispy, like fall-like. And so there's less opportunity for those mosquitoes to be as bad as they were just post-flooding.
It's so remarkable because I am seeing it too, Lyric, around our area where obviously we had so much standing water. And even now, about roughly a month later, you do see those dry patches. We got a dry stretch coming up right now. I've always wondered, you hear about when there's standing water that you will see those mosquito spawns start to occur. How long can water stick around where it's a potent environment for mosquitoes? Can they do that almost immediately once you start seeing that ponding, or does it take a little time for them to get that activity going?
Yeah, so there's different kinds of mosquito. Actually, in the state of Wisconsin, one of the students who's worked with me and the other director of our Center of Excellence here at UW, she cataloged like 53 different kinds of mosquito in Wisconsin, believe it or not.
Kidding.
It's 53 too many.
Oh my gosh. How similar are they, or what are their differences? I know we can't go through all 53, but I mean, to us, a mosquito is a mosquito, right?
100%. I'm so glad you asked. They're remarkable differences. So they differ in color and shape and size, but they also differ in the kinds of things that they feed on. We have some mosquitoes that feed on people, some on birds, some on turtles and frogs, some that feed even on, believe it or not, earthworms. How cool is that?
Oh, wow.
Leave the earthworms alone. What did they do?
I don't think an earthworm gets this sort of itchy bite that you and I do, if that makes you feel any better.
Okay. I saw a headline recently, in just the last couple of days, as long as we're talking about all the different kinds of mosquitoes, it said, tiger mosquitoes are emerging in Wisconsin. And I thought, oh, great. What is this? And in fact, that's what prompted me to make this initial phone call, too. And then my mind was eased a little bit. Can you tell us what these tiger mosquitoes are and what we need to know about them here in our area?
For sure. So Aedes albopictus is the so-called Asian tiger mosquito. And because you're interested in what makes them all look really different, this one's like jet black with beautiful white, beautiful white scales, bright white scales that make like a stripe over the thorax and stripes on their legs. And so they're pretty striking mosquito visually. They're also pretty striking mosquito as far as we perceive them, because they feed during the day and their bite is really uncomfortable. So I know, like, most mosquito bites are pretty annoying when you're getting them. These, you can really kind of feel a little burn in your skin when they're feeding. It's really obnoxious. And so it makes being outside really, really miserable. If that was a mosquito that we had experienced post-floods, you would have seen even more outrage from the community, because it adds another layer of discomfort to the mosquito bite experience, for sure.
So
it's also, go ahead.
Are we seeing them down in, I was trying to figure out, are they emerging in Wisconsin? Is this a new thing? Is this an old thing? Is it happening more in Illinois? What is like the real deal here?
That's right. So we found them initially at places where tires are sold way back in 2017, and started doing some research in all of Wisconsin, as much of Wisconsin as we could cover. We found them only at sites where tires were being sold. And that's because those mosquitoes like to lay their eggs in dark places with, kind of mucky water for their babies to feed and grow in. And tires turn out to be the perfect place. Tires are also transported from all around. So people will, buy tires, and the tire provider has to ship the tires from like New Orleans to Madison or New Orleans to Milwaukee, right?
Yeah.
And so that brings these mosquitoes to our doorsteps. So we went looking in those places, and indeed we found them. Not in high numbers, but we found them. We saw them in reasonably low numbers, I think, for the 3 or 4 years that we were looking for them. And we think probably they come into Wisconsin with those tire shipments every year. We probably at this point this year don't have kind of established populations of that mosquito around.
Well, thank goodness.
Right, not a huge threat, except that our neighbors just to the south in and around the greater Chicago area in the last 3 years or so have really seen an increase in the number and experiences people have with that mosquito. So I fear that it's probably coming our way, but this year, the bites you all have been getting have probably not been from that one.
Director of the Midwest Center of Excellence for Vector-Borne Disease, Dr. Lyric Bartholomew, with us on Wisconsin's Midday News. Dr. Bartholomew, now as we look ahead, you mentioned the future. I wanted to ask, since we have a mosquito expert on, about something that happened a couple of years ago that could be impacting our mosquito numbers here. If you recall, in 2023, the U.S. Department of Ag upped our hardiness zone in southeast Wisconsin, including Milwaukee, to Zone 6 from where it was in Zone 5, which essentially means warmer winters are expected. I know we typically rely on those cold months to cut down on the population. As Jessica mentioned, we had that cool stretch not too long ago. Is that a bigger deal as it relates to mosquito numbers than people realize, the fact that we went up a zone?
I really think so, and I'm so glad you asked because, when you go up a zone, you have a change in the kinds of plants you can grow in your backyard and the sort of growing season for your vegetables when you plant them outside. And so we're going to see parallel, I think, issues with mosquitoes where they'll also have a longer growing season. So we may see them sooner and deal with them later. And they actually, believe it or not, do feed on plants. So it's female mosquitoes that suck our blood, but male and female mosquitoes also take nectar. And so those nectar sources might be different too and interact with the mosquitoes in unexpected ways. That would make things more habitable for other species of mosquito maybe to come our way. And certainly just make it so we're experiencing them sooner in the season and not getting rid of them until later.
You have such a wealth of information. I feel like we're going to have to bring you back on. But real quickly here, I know the Midwest Center of Excellence for Vector-Borne Disease works to better understand and control mosquitoes and the diseases they carry. Can you tell us about a couple of the unique experiments or tests that you do that you're conducting on the mosquitoes that our fans would just be kind of fascinated to learn about?
We're so fortunate to have this support from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to do this work in the upper Midwest, where people are subjected to mosquitoes and ticks all the time. So we're working on solutions for both of those things. And I'd love to come back and talk more about it. And one of the things that we did in the Milwaukee area when we found Aedes albopictus over there was we were working in these giant tire stacks, like of tractor tires, actually. And the mosquitoes could lay their eggs and develop all the way down these like 10-foot tall stacks. And we found that there was a particular kind of insecticide that's actually what we call a biopesticide. So it's environmentally friendly. It doesn't hurt anything other than really insect pests. And it's made in a way where it sort of ping-pongs off the side of the tires. So we dropped a tablespoon down into this big tire stack. It ping-ponged around. And with just like a couple minutes of effort, we could kill all of those Aedes albopictus in that tire stack. So that was one of the ways that we were trying to make a relatively straightforward way to control that mosquito. We're also looking at the possibilities of using essential oils and natural pesticides to control mosquitoes, and asking questions about whether when you control mosquitoes, might you also be controlling ticks? So those are some of the kinds of experiments that we do with the great students that are in the UW system.
Well, I would love if I could just put a little essential oil on my skin and not have them bother me, because I swear I have like Skeeter syndrome. They just love me. I don't even need to wear perfume. It doesn't matter. They don't care.
Absolutely. Well, what I would say is that you're particularly delicious. Okay. You have this great sort of cocktail of smells that the mosquitoes really love. So finding a way to make it so they don't detect you is really important. And although the essential oils sometimes can be okay, the best tried and true is something that has either DEET or picaridin in it. And the EPA has great lists to tell you exactly what kinds of repellents work best and for how long.
Well, it's only Monday, and I think we found our soundbite of the day. Soundbite of the week.
We did too. Maybe year.
Which one?
So many.
Is it a buzz?
Great insight, Lyric. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, I appreciate the call. Take care.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 12:51. Coming up next, a message from above.
The dance of sunlight on water.
Shimmering, sparkling, beautiful, hypnotic.
Houses that overlook a gorgeous body of water are the most highly desired houses in the world.
The Bellamare collection of fine jewelry features classic white diamonds, flanked and surrounded by rare and exotic blue diamonds.
Bellamare means beautiful water.
Bellamare, sunlight on water, glimmering and twinkling.
The dance is enticing.
The look is spectacular.
The impact is exciting.
Blue and white diamonds created in the heart of Mother Nature
will dance and sing on the body of a glittering, sparkling woman.
Bellamare. This blue and white beauty of sunlight on water
should be worn on the fingers,
the wrist,
the neck, and the ears
of the woman you love.
The Bellamare collection is available only at Kessler's.
We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
At Wisconsin's own Accunet Mortgage, our closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 less than the banks or the mortgage guys with the Rocket for exactly the same rate. Find out how much you can save at ACCUNET.com.
You don't have to be going for the largest personal injury verdict in state history to call us, or the largest product liability verdict in state history. But just in case it gets that big, we're the ones most qualified to handle it. Since 1930, our firm has handled and won the largest personal injury cases in Wisconsin history. And we want to handle your car accident case too. Habish, Habish & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service. Visit habish.com for more information.
Marty's Pizza in Delafield has expanded its delivery zone. Yep, we're sending our heated oven delivery trucks out farther than ever and expanding our footprint. Check out martyspizza.net to find out if you're covered, and we'll send out one of our fleet ASAP to get you great pizza, subs, salads, or our Italian entrees. And for parties of 50 or more, heck, we'll deliver almost anywhere. Just give us a call, and we'll see how we can make it happen for your large group gathering.
Do you remember when times were good? Well, they're good again. It's as good today as it was in the past. It doesn't get any better than that. Remember, Marty's Pizza.
The Brew Crew became the first team in the majors to clinch a playoff spot over the weekend. Big moment came Saturday night. After the game, there was a powerful moment in the clubhouse. Brewers manager Pat Murphy read a letter attributed to the late Bob Uecker. Here it is.
I got a letter today from Uecker, and before we toast, I want to read it. Thanks, Mark. Thought it was fitting. The last time that we celebrated, Uecker was with us. Howdy, boys. Never a doubt you would get this invitation. You did it by believing. Really miss you guys, and I wish I was there. Things are good. The God Almighty picked me to be on his team up here, albeit I'm the third catcher. It's a great league. No day games after night games. No shadows. But you got all the sticky you need to have up here. Told the big guy about you guys. You play hard every night. You're not afraid to play for each other. He's obviously very interested in a group with this uncommon goodness. The fact that you have the best record in baseball, the best road record in baseball, has caught his attention. You don't really need me. I know you guys really don't need me, but I've got to tell you, I'll be on the headset every night watching. And don't forget to take it all in, enjoy it, keep it light, and believe in each other. Bob Uecker. So let's toast to him and to our team, what we've achieved so far. Hey, hey.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 12:56. Coming up next, your top local news.
Hi, this is Jeff Levering with the Brewers Radio Network. Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's trusted name in home improvement, does more than just top-quality roofing. They're your go-to for maintenance-free siding and energy-efficient windows, too. Ridgetop has expert credentials with leading manufacturers like Pella, James Hardie, and LP Smart Siding. For over 20 years, they delivered exceptional craftsmanship and service. Call Ridgetop Exteriors today or visit ridgetopexteriors.com. Ridgetop Exteriors, where customer service always comes first.
Ridgetop Exteriors.
Imagine that unbelievable new deck in your backyard. Outdoor Living Unlimited is Wisconsin's #1 timber tech deck builder. Building new decks and replacing old ones, creating that $1 million feeling every time you relax in your own backyard. Looking for a company to make your backyard scream wow? Stop by Outdoor Living Unlimited's resourceful Waukesha showroom and visit OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
It's WTMJ's Kristen Bry from Mission 94 Firearms Education Center in Kenosha. Look, I've never been a gun person, but I figured we have guns in the home, so it was finally time to learn how to safely load and shoot. So I went to Mission 94 with an open mind and ended up having a blast. Mission 94 is a welcoming environment for everyone at any experience level, including me. I love how they prioritize education and training, and the staff, they made me feel so comfortable in their state-of-the-art facility. Check it out for yourself. Just Google Mission 94.
Wisconsin's Morning News is here for you every weekday morning starting at 6 a.m. Vince Petrano.
Elkhorn schools tightening security after a viral social media firestorm.
Eric Billstad.
Breaking political news, Decision Wisconsin. State Senator Kelda Roy's announcing a run for governor this morning.
And traffic with Debbie Lozica.
We do have one issue on 4394 northbound.
The news you need to know. Wisconsin's Morning News on WTMJ. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Welcome to our Everyday Health feature, sponsored by the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network. When you or someone you care about is suddenly injured or not feeling well, figuring out where to go for same-day medical care, it can feel overwhelming. To help us make sense of the different options available, we're joined today by Dr. Ani Sorian-Kopf, a primary care physician who practices at the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Lincoln Health Center. Dr. Sorian-Kopf, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
What are some of the symptoms that should prompt someone to seek same-day care?
Some reasons for seeking care can range from non-emergency conditions, such as allergies or sprains, fever or rash, to more serious conditions like a stroke, major injury, or trauma.
Often a hospital emergency department is the first place that people think of for same-day care. Is that always the right choice, the right way to think?
Usually there are some pretty clear reasons for an emergency room visit. If you believe that the person might be at risk for permanent disability or death, certainly you should call 911 and go to the ER immediately. But if that's not the case, there's an array of same-day care options available, each with a lot of capabilities, locations.
So let's dive into that a little bit. If the health issue doesn't rise to the level of an ED visit, what steps should a person take to get the care needed at the right place and time?
There are many options to choose from, but the best thing to do would be contacting your primary care provider's office. They know you, they know your family and your health history, and they should be your first contact for non-emergency care. During business hours, first a nurse will talk to you to advise a course of action, connect you with your doctor, maybe through a same-day visit in person or a virtual visit. After hours, most clinics and doctors' offices have an answering service to handle urgent or unexpected medical care needs.
Dr. Ani Sorian-Kopf, thanks for being with us today. Find care that's right for you by visiting freighter.com/same-day.
Trusted, relevant, locally owned, locally programmed. We are Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620, WTMJ Milwaukee.
It's 1 o'clock. I'm Jessica Tighe. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Monday, September 15th. Your top story, suing the government for wrongful termination.
I'm Adam Roberts, losing work over social media posts.
Fantastic, fabulous, wonderful, however you want to describe it. It is a great day out there, mostly sunny, warmer inland. We have a high of 76 near the lake, 81 inland. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 63, and we're still sitting at 74 degrees right now. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a former federal prosecutor is suing the Trump administration over her firing. CBS's Matt Pieper has the details.
Maureen Comey's federal lawsuit notes that her firing in July came the day after her supervisors had asked her to take the lead on a major public corruption case and 3 months after she had received her latest outstanding review. The daughter of former FBI Director James Comey says in a federal lawsuit that she was not provided any cause for her removal. She had worked on the cases against Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and the recent trial of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs.
Comey's suit includes the Justice Department, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and the Office of Personnel Management.
In Elkhorn, a fake social media post has stirred up chaos. A Facebook profile wrongly linking Associate Principal Cindy Rehberg to a derogatory post about the late Charlie Kirk, sparking hundreds of angry calls to Elkhorn schools. Superintendent Jason Tadlock on WTMJ.
We received probably about, at this point, 700 different voicemails. Senator Nass's office also gave me a call because they were concerned, again, seeing that post, that Cindy Rehberg had made that post. And I shared with them, I'm like, absolutely not. She didn't make that post.
Law enforcement now investigating things, and police presence at schools in Elkhorn will be increased throughout the week.
Several Wisconsin workers are facing backlash over social media posts about Charlie Kirk's death. In Milwaukee, Nextdoor Childcare fired an employee who criticized Kirk's pro-gun views online. In Wausau, a nonprofit leader lost her position after posting well-deserved with clapping emojis. A Laconia high school teacher is on leave for calling Kirk a racist and white nationalist. And in Cudahy, the school district is investigating one worker over a social media post made outside of school hours.
Political violence continuing to be an issue across the country after last week's assassination of Kirk. Bridge Entertainment Labs founding president Steve Olakara on WTMJ's Point Taken.
How do we disagree without violence? How do we learn from people who are different than us? And I believe the most powerful weapon we have for the political divide right now is humanizing people who are different than us.
We'll be digging deeper into political violence and what one group is doing to curb the rhetoric coming up later this hour.
A framework of a deal reached with the Chinese on the ownership of TikTok. Congress passed a law that would ban TikTok in the U.S. unless it was brought by an American company. President Trump's extension of the deadline set in law expires this week. In fact, about 2 days here on Wednesday. ABC's Karen Travers.
We heard from the Treasury Secretary, though, saying that the president is expected to talk to China's President Xi at the end of this week after they finalize this and likely announce the deal at that point. We should note that the TikTok app is subject to a permanent ban in this country because of legislation that was passed last year by Congress during the Biden administration. But that was all subject to the ownership shifting to a significant U.S. stake. The president has extended that repeatedly with these 90-day extensions. That deadline now is coming up again, September 17th, in just 2 days.
During the Biden administration, Congress and the White House used national security concerns to approve the ban.
News about your money now, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The market's watching those conversations between President Trump and China, as well as other factors. Meanwhile, the numbers up slightly this hour. The Dow now up 21 points at 45,855. The NASDAQ up nearly 200 points this afternoon at 22,330, and the S&P 500 is up 28 this hour at 6,612. Financial planning at every level, Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1:05.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Hey, WTMJ's John Burke here. Next December 2026, my wife Michelle and I are taking a Christmas trip that's been on our bucket list for more than a decade. Won't you come with us? Christmas on the Danube with Colette Tours. Beautiful river cruise to the most famous Christmas markets in Europe. December 2026 and a 2-night pre-trip extension to Prague. 6 nights on the beautiful MS Amadeus riverboat. 68 cabins, each with a great view. Stunning deck cafe, panorama bar. Will be in Vienna. The medieval castle and hillside towns of the Wachau Valley, a 200-year-old fairy tale town of Passau, Germany. John at WTMJ.com. JOHN at WTMJ.com. Send me an email. I send you the beautiful information, including pricing. Or join me at the WTMJ studios, where you can meet me and the folks from Colette on September 23rd at 6:30 downtown our studio. But you need to RSVP.
Let me show you the world. Come away with me.
John at WTMJ.com. Send me an email. I send you the info.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gerber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The playoff-bound Milwaukee Brewers lost the final game of their home series. Milwaukee fell 3-2 to the St. Louis Cardinals. The Brewers have the night off tonight before hosting the Los Angeles Angels tomorrow. They remain 5.5 games ahead of the Cubs at the top of the NL Central. And a loss for the UW Badgers, falling 38-14 to the Alabama Crimson Tide on the road. The Badgers are back home Saturday to host Maryland in open Big Ten play. Badger Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited. Siding and a whole lot more.
To the roads we go, your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Still just our 2 slow spots right now. One is a usual one, 4145 Silver Spring, heading south all the way to Burleigh is still slow, and it has been for much of the afternoon here. About 2 to 3 extra minutes on your ride from Highway Q down towards the zoo. And then we also have this slow spot on the Rock Freeway. It's just south and west of Moreland, between there and about Martin Road as you head through McWanago. Not seeing any incidents associated with this. It's just a little tight spot, and then once you get past about Racine Avenue, you are free and clear out of southeast Wisconsin. So just a little bit of a slow spot, and that is it. Everywhere else is looking quite good.
And here's the WTMJ 5-day forecast. One word, fabulous. Can that be it? Yeah. Let's just sum it up.
Fabulous.
5 days. I mean, that's pretty much the case. Today, mostly sunny, warmer inland. We have a high of 76 near the lake, 81 inland. Tonight, mostly clear. We'll dip down to 63 for the low. Then you've got tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, mostly sunny. We have highs in the low 80s and upper 70s. It's just going to be great. Friday, partly cloudy and a high of 72. We are still sitting at 74 degrees in Milwaukee.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Tighe, and in for Greg Metzik, it's Adam Roberts.
Yeah, how about this September weather? We're loving this. I swear the falls in Wisconsin just keep getting better and better as the years go on.
I would agree. And we talked last hour with Dr. Lyric Bartholomew about those changing warmer winters. But September for me is the perfect time of year if you want to do something outside, because we try to do things sometimes in July and August, and it's just so sticky. I mean, we can get up into the 90s, but I don't think I've met a September yet that's been too hot or too cold. It's kind of that third bowl of porridge when it comes to Wisconsin weather.
Well, and Mother Nature freaked us out a little bit because we got that blast of cooler air, but nope, here we are, and we're sitting more like summer temps, so we will enjoy it. Thanks so much for joining us. We hope you had a fabulous weekend. We've got 2 more hours packed ahead.
And now it's time for 3 Big Things on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1, looks like a cut is coming. The Federal Reserve is expected to cut interest rates this week when it holds its September meeting. The jobs market is slowing down, and cutting interest rates has been one tactic used by the Fed to jumpstart hiring. ABC's Rebecca Jarvis has our look ahead.
The Fed is widely expected to cut interest rates by 0.25%, meaning it gets a little bit cheaper to borrow money. Think lower credit card APRs, less expensive car loans. This can also impact mortgage rates, which have been moving lower in anticipation. The average 30-year fixed-rate mortgage hit its lowest level since 2024 earlier this month.
The Fed has to balance a weakening jobs market and inflation, which is still high in some categories, especially at the grocery store. I noticed that last night buying the hamburgers. It seems like they keep going up and up and up and up, and then they're getting a little smaller too.
Yeah, we are seeing some shrinkflation with burgers, I feel like. And beef has been this year like one of the hot button ones for inflation.
Yeah, you also see those higher prices buying coffee. Even the generics are high right now.
Number 2, a long list of hurdles for the Secret Service. This ahead of a major funeral in the Southwest this week. High-level administration personnel, Republican Party officials, top political influencers, all expected to converge in Arizona on Sunday to honor the late Charlie Kirk. ABC's Matt Gutman with a preview.
State Farm Stadium just outside Phoenix. That's where the Arizona Cardinals play. It's got a capacity of 70,000 people. President Trump said that he will be there.
Now, that's a big factor in all of this. The president is planning to attend Kirk's funeral. Remains to be seen whether this will be designated a national special security event, which does bring in extra Secret Service angles. They got a busy week already in store. The president and his wife expected to go to the UK later this week. We've also got the UN General Assembly next week in New York City. So there's a lot of angles to all of this that everything has to still be figured out with. By the way, we are anticipating in tomorrow learning more about the charges that will be brought against Kirk's alleged assassin, Tyler Robinson. That expected around 1 o'clock our time.
Number 3, your health insurance bills could be going up soon. ABC's Wayne Cabot with the latest.
Millions will be facing skyrocketing health insurance costs unless Congress votes to extend subsidies. Some people have already gotten letters. Insurers mailing out notices in nearly every state, with some proposing premium hikes as high as 50%. Democrats are threatening to vote to shut down the government at the end of this month if Republicans don't extend the subsidies. Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is coming up on 1:13. And coming up next, the state of political violence in our country and what one Wisconsin group is trying to do about it.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
You should be listening to Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Tighe each weekday.
I made my much talked about here in Wisconsin's Midday News recipe. Greg?
Egg roll in a bowl?
Egg roll in a bowl.
Why didn't you call me?
But if you missed us, catch up anytime with our Wisconsin's Midday News podcast.
So subscribe, take us with you wherever you go. Full shows, full hours, all the interviews, the fun stuff that you may have missed throughout the course of your day.
Powered by Siding Unlimited. It's siding and a whole lot more.
So, Alex, why don't you tell us about Lion's Tail?
We've been brewing for 10 years, and now we're busy expanding into Milwaukee, trying to get on every shelf of every store and on tap at every restaurant.
How has Horicon Bank been a part of your story?
Horicon Bank understands the needs of small businesses versus working with a big bank. Horicon, they're much like a small business, just like we are. I know most of the people on that team. It's nice working with someone that understands your business.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Political violence is on the rise here in the U.S. The most recent example, the shocking assassination of political activist Charlie Kirk. Just 2 months earlier, we had the assassination of Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband right in their own home. We also had the attempted assassination of President Trump, and that's just naming a few examples. What comes next for our country? There's a group in Wisconsin, a cross-partisan group working to decrease polarization and promote peaceful engagement with others. It's a Wisconsin Alliance for Civic Trust. The coordinator of WisAct, Paul Van Auken, joins us live in the line. Thanks for joining us at Midday, Paul.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me.
So first off, what is your group's take on what is happening in our country right now, the state of political violence in 2025?
Yeah, I mean, people have been concerned about this, and predicting that there'd be an increase in it for a while, and the reasons for it are complex. I'd be happy to share some of our thoughts on that.
Please.
Yeah, part of it is, it stems from deep polarization. And that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to produce violence, but there are certain conditions that research has shown will tend to lead to more violence. So a few things about polarization that are important to know. Partisan divides over political values. This divide is much wider than it was 20 years ago, and it's much higher than the differences based on just factors like race, religion, education level, and so forth. Which party you belong to helps explain your political values more than it used to. We have a bunch of different structural drivers of polarization, meaning they're beyond individuals. There are things that are going on in society. We have a much higher foreign-born population in the United States. Since 1970, it's gone from about 4.7% up to 14% roughly. So it's a more diverse society, which can exacerbate divisions based on race and ethnicity. We have the rise of what some call closed media ecosystems. People have referred to that as echo chambers on various sides. And right along with that, the rise of social media, which then tends to facilitate the spread of myths and disinformation and radicalization. We've seen a lot of young men that have been radicalized online who are seeking belonging. And, we also have this kind of underlying mental health crisis, and this just causes a cloud that builds. We have rising income inequality, so that can lead to more resentment and heightened grievance, declining trust in institutions. We have people living more and more in politically homogenous communities, so that heightens segregation and isolation from other people that might cause us to, not believe untruths and stereotypes that we're hearing. And then a couple other quick things that can be important on a psychological basis for some people at least, that belonging sometimes becomes more important than facts. And political parties have become a sort of mega identity for at least some people that kind of defines people more than other factors. And that goes right along with people being less involved in community affairs where they would have had other things that help define who they are. So you put those things together and you kind of have a recipe for political violence getting worse.
Paul Van Aken with WISAC. Sorry to interrupt you, Paul. Just I wanted to set you up because you listed so many factors that have contributed to the environment we're seeing right now. Your tagline for WISAC is building faith in democracy. So now that you've run through everything, what are you guys specifically doing to counter all of these factors that we're seeing?
Yeah, well, one of the things that I like to say now, I should note that WISAC was started in 2024 by cross-partisan co-founders David Haynes and Scott McCallum. And we at the Whitburn Center at UW Oshkosh have now taken over management. So we're newly managing it. But, we're continuing the work that they started. And one of the things that I like to say is we start by trying to build community to build trust. And so that takes some different forms, bringing people together to have fruitful conversations. We have monthly meetings that people from throughout Wisconsin can participate in because they're online. We do trainings, including de-escalation trainings, to teach people how to have fruitful conversations, where the humanity of other people is at the forefront. And there are techniques that can be practiced so you get better at having conversations. Various things to, have cross-partisan statements that condemn political violence when they unfortunately occur. So we've got a team that's ready to put together statements, and we always include people from different sides of the political aisle that give us quotes for those statements. And one of the things we've really started here at the Whitburn Center is focusing on youth engagement. So we have a kind of a subchapter called Y-ACT, which stands for Youth for Civic Trust, Young Adults for Civic Trust. And so we've got a bunch of college-age people that are soon to become fellows in that program and going to be learning these things and taking action. because we really feel like we need to start with younger people who are often much more open to having dialogues across differences than people who get more set in their ways as they get older. So those are a sample of some of the things that we're trying to do.
I absolutely love the effort. I will be honest. I think there are going to be some of our fans who are listening who are going to think, I hear meetings, I hear newsletters. I don't know that I can change what we have going on right now, right? You laugh because you realize that probably there are people thinking that too, but you have to start somewhere, and conversations are a part of it, and getting the youth involved as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I laugh because I think it's not because it's funny, it's because it's true. And it's a hard message when people are outraged to say further outrage is not going to help. Like, we need to come together. One of the things that predicts political violence is that people have misperceptions about their who they perceive as their opponents. So research shows that people think that the other side is much more interested in political violence than they actually are. And most people are not interested in political violence and condemn it. But research shows that they're much more likely to think that their perceived enemies actually believe in it. That's one of those things that you can, and the same thing with sharing information. That's a big part of what we try to do, is counter dis or misinformation with facts. Some people are not that as receptive to that kind of thing. But can we get those people together talking? That's how they can see for themselves that, this person doesn't seem to be interested in that kind of thing either. So really trying to get people to come across differences, to have conversations, is a big part of what we're trying to encourage. And there are people throughout the state. We have hundreds of members throughout the state. Some of them are actively doing these things based on trainings and based on alignment with us, and some just because that's how they operate. And we need more people willing to do that.
Are you finding some challenges along the way, just even in getting your message out and in getting people to take note of it?
Yeah, I think that, like I was saying, the approach that really works. One of the other pieces of research that's important to know is that political violence does not work to achieve political aims. It's also, though, the case that really a lot of what we've been seeing is not necessarily, it's not collective. It's individuals that are carrying out violence based on their own, rationale. So it's not like we have these collective groups that are at war with each other, so to speak. But there's a lot of things. You mentioned in the opening, one thing after the other, major things happening, and so it's hard, I think, to get this sort of peaceful engagement idea, building community to build trust. Countering disinformation with facts. These things take patience, they take deep breaths, and people want action now, which I can understand. There's a lot of reasons to be upset, but countering upsetting news with things that are going to make it worse obviously is not a good strategy. But hopefully we can start to break through. So that's one of the reasons that we really appreciate being asked to be on your show today.
Paul, I wanted to ask you, we're looking ahead to 2026, which is an election year, both in Wisconsin and across the country. People will be back at the polls for primaries and then the general election. Are you guys at WISACT preparing to have frank conversations with groups like the Wisconsin Elections Commission or other organizations that set up elections to say, hey, let's get ahead of things now and put in some basic best practices to counter any issues we may see, not saying that there will be, and certainly we hope that there aren't, but preparing in advance. Is that something you're already preparing to discuss?
Yeah, definitely. And that's the kind of thing that WISACT, when David and Scott started it, there was a lot of focus on the 2024 election and doing those kinds of things to try to get the message out that in Wisconsin, elections remain safe and secure. But of course, having conversations with all kinds of stakeholders that'll help preserve that, perpetuate it, and that's of utmost importance. And that includes just encouraging people to speak out, to say, to counter when people are making claims that may be factually untrue, with measured responses.
But yes, that is definitely part of and it's a national strategy. There's all kinds of groups working on that. It's certainly not just us. But one of the great things about being part of WISAC is that we are plugged into the Carter Center in Atlanta, helped to get this organization started along with 5 others in swing states. And they chose those states, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, Florida, et cetera. Michigan, Wisconsin, I think I covered them all. Because in swing states, there's more potential for very heated discussions and, potentially conflict and violence. So we're working on a national basis, sharing ideas and following best practices for the types of things that you're referring to. And that work will start ramping up for sure because 2026 is not far away. So we'll be doing some training starting later in the fall, and people that are interested should go find us on social media and at our website.
Great work, Paul.
To find out about that.
We're running out of time here, Paul, but we'll have to bring you back because I do like the history of WISAC going back to the Carter Center as well. That's Paul Van Auken with the Wisconsin Alliance for Civic Trust. We appreciate your information so much. It is so needed right now in our country and here in Wisconsin.
Thanks a lot. Have a good one.
1:27 is the time. Coming up next, your top local news and national headlines as well.
Come catch the final battle of the regular season when the Brewers host the Reds Friday, September 26th through Sunday, September 28th. We're celebrating the best fans in the game on Saturday, the 27th at Fan Appreciation Night, presented by Toyota. Plus, if you're one of the first 30,000 fans through the gates, you'll take home a Brewers Tumbler giveaway too, presented by Quick Trip. Come close out the regular season with the crew. Get your seats today at brewers.com/tickets.
Staying active, essential for overall health. Proper medical support, essential for staying active. WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Whether it's keeping a weekend warrior like me on the tennis court or keeping young athletes in the game, you want the best in sports medicine, that's OAW. Surgeons, nurses, and physical therapists help you recover from injury, avoid injury in the future, and enhance performance. Get care 7 days a week. Walk right in at an Ortho ASAP clinic or book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com.
Are you sick of not being your bank's top priority? We are too. At Wintrust, we take a different approach to banking. We're proud to be your one true banking partner focused on your unique financial goals. That's right in your backyard. Whether you're opening your first account, buying a home, planning for the future, or starting a business, we have tailored solutions to get you there. Stop settling and start experiencing a better way to bank at Wintrust.com. Wintrust, different approach, better results. Banking products provided by Wintrust Financial Corp. Banks. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, this is Julie Coombs and Cindy Stormfisher with Stormfisher Investment Group. Are you a retiring professional? Worried about the direction of our economy? About making your money last? Come see what we can do for you. Let us show you how we take care of you to help you have a great retirement. We are at 262-796-8400 or stormfisher.com. See you soon.
Securities offered through Osaic Wealth Inc. Member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Osaic Advisory Services LLC. Osaic Advisory. Osaic Wealth and Osaic Advisory are separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, and services referenced here are independent of Osaic Wealth and Osaic Advisory.
Clean up on fall lawn and garden deals this week at Fleet Farm. Add a little color to your porch with 8-inch mums for just $7.99. Tackle those leaves with Trooper's 20-inch steel or 24-inch poly rake. Your choice, only $7.99. And prep your lawn for winter with Superior Winterizer Lawn Fertilizer, just $16.99 a bag. Get a jump on fall with the gear you need at the best prices guaranteed at Fleet Farm. And check out even more deals at fleetfarm.com.
After a serious accident, you'll need a winning team to protect your rights. Trust Wisconsin's own Ruger Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Brewers. One call, that's all.
It's 1:30. I'm Jessica Tighe. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Monday, September 15th. Your top story, throwing your name into the race.
I'm Adam Roberts, walking back a Christmas bus proposal.
What a lovely way to start off the new work week. Mostly sunny, warmer inland. We have a high of 76 near the lake, 81 inland. Tonight, mostly sunny. We'll dip down to 63 for the low.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent in Madrid for meetings with the Chinese delegation says there's a tentative agreement to keep TikTok up and running in the U.S.
The framework is for it to switch to U.S.-controlled ownership.
But again, I'm not going to get ahead of the leaders' call on Friday. We have a framework. They'll have to confirm the deal.
Under federal law, TikTok's Chinese owner is supposed to sell the social network or face a ban in the U.S. That deadline has been extended. Investigators still working to determine a motive in the fatal shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Law enforcement sources familiar with the investigation tell ABC News officials say they've discovered evidence suspected shooter Tyler Robinson was tracking Kirk's events and public appearances through open source information on the internet, and have also gathered evidence showing the 22-year-old became familiar allegedly with Utah Valley University, including maps of the campus in the days before the attack. On Wall Street, stocks are mixed in afternoon trading.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1:31.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, Decision, Wisconsin. Another Democrat enters the race for governor.
State Senator Kelda Roys has announced her second run for governor of Wisconsin. Roys previously ran for governor in 2018, finishing third in the Democratic primary. Roys is now the fourth Democrat to enter the race, following Governor Tony Evers' decision to retire after his current term. So far, there are two Republicans in the field, Washington County Executive Josh Schoeman and New Berlin businessman Bill Berrien. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
Former Congressman Joe Walsh sharing rare insight into his longtime connection with the late political activist Charlie Kirk.
Walsh met Kirk as a high school student and helped him launch Turning Point USA, calling him a political prodigy.
I was his most favorite political figure. From the time he was 16 until Charlie and I went our separate ways in 2017.
He says Kirk faced difficult choices after the 2016 election, but stayed committed to his path.
What I believed he knew wasn't the right thing to do, I understood why he did it. So it was at one level, like I've lost, again, all my friends and all my supporters. But knowing Charlie as I did, that relationship, it was personal. It was disappointing.
Nizer Spencer, WTMJ News.
Remember that idea to suspend bus service on a holiday? It's not going to happen.
Milwaukee County Supervisor Sheldon Wasserman is withdrawing his resolution to cut bus service on Christmas Day. The District 3 supervisor says he changed his mind after hearing from riders who rely on public transit on holidays. Last year, Milwaukee County Transit System provided about 14,000 bus rides on Christmas Day. Wasserman announced his proposal last week as a way to save MCTS about $130,000. Meanwhile, MCTS is still working on lowering its budget deficit of over $9 million. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
An interest rate cut is expected when the Federal Reserve meets this week. With the jobs market slowing down, cutting rates has been one tactic used by the Fed to jumpstart hiring in the past. Annex Wealth Management Chief Economist Brian Jacobson on WTMJ's Point Taken.
When they try to cut that rate, so if they're going to reduce it, they are providing more funds into the financial system, basically, to expand the availability and lower the cost of credit generally.
Interest rates could be cut by 0.25% during Wednesday's meeting.
Milwaukee leaders are using the Suicide Prevention Month to highlight both prevention and post-prevention efforts. Dr. Sarah Kolbeck is the Director of Suicide Research and Healing at the Medical College of Wisconsin.
We've developed a new training opportunity called Bridge to Hope that focuses on building connection among community members to help identify folks who might be at risk for suicide and then discover how to have important conversations with those folks to get them to the care that we need.
Kolbeck says for each person who dies by suicide, there are about 135 people who are impacted.
The power of friendship gets a breather today. Sports, traffic, and weather on the way next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Times, 1:34.
Did you know, according to research, a majority of people gain their weight back after stopping those expensive weight loss shots? Don't become another statistic. The doctor-developed Milwaukee weight loss program doesn't just help you lose weight, it helps you keep it off for good. We've helped thousands of people lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in just 8 weeks and maintain the results long-term. No more yo-yo dieting or weight regain. Visit MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com now to schedule your free consultation.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Steve Scavidi here. After a summer in the maintenance phase, feeling great, looking great. I'm back in reduction mode with the goal to lose 10 more pounds with Milwaukee Weight Loss. That means I'll have lost 50 pounds, yes, 50 pounds since January. The best part, none of the intense workouts, none of the meals, kits, or shakes, no meds, no injections. Many patients see 20 to 30 pounds. I saw 40 plus come off in just a month or two. You can do it. I did it. Book your free consultation today at 262-393-2334 or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Time to get your furnace ready to work this winter. Vince Vitrano here with my HVAC guy, Ryan Sopa at Urban Heating and Cooling. Ryan, you're doing furnace tune-ups now.
Correct. We're starting to do furnace maintenance, making sure your furnace is ready for the upcoming cold weather.
You do all that for less than $100. You can save big, though, if you spend that money up front, right? Make sure this thing is good.
Correct. I mean, if we come in there and do a maintenance on your furnace, so it can help prevent major breakdowns for the next season.
Thanks, Ryan. Contact them now at urbanheatingandcooling.com. urbanheatingandcooling.com.
Dave Spano from Annex Wealth Management. It didn't seem like it when the season started, but we've watched the crew become a great team. We're just as proud of the team here at Annex. I'll put the Annex team up against anyone when it comes to what we do. Investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning. If that's what you're looking for, let's talk soon. AnnexWealth.com. Click the Get Started button. In the meantime, let's enjoy championship baseball in Milwaukee.
I'm WTMJ's Sandy Max. What makes senior living at Three Pillars so special? Let's hear from my friend Marilyn.
The staff is fabulous. They feel as much like friends as the people that live there. We go to lunch at the cafe, book talk at 1, team trivia at 2, bags at 3, and then it's dinner time. That's a typical Tuesday. Three Pillars, in one word, happiness. It's a gorgeous campus.
Schedule a tour today at threepillars.org.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Brewers took 2 out of 3 from the Cardinals, dropping the series finale Sunday 3-2. But the team is still riding high after clinching a playoff berth over the weekend.
The Brewers are officially postseason bound, and now the power of friendship can reach a whole new level. Christian Yelich explains.
We're this kind of team because of how much we care for each other and how we play for each other and how good of friends we are. We have the opportunity to be friends for life, right? We go and do this whole thing and go where we want to go. Everybody in this room is friends for life.
His speech from the post-game celebration as the Brewers toasted to the 7th trip to the playoffs in the last 8 years. From American Family Field, I'm Dominic Cotroneo.
The Brewers have the day off today. They start a 3-game series against the Angels tomorrow night at American Family Field.
Off to the roads, your WTMJ time saver. Traffic remains slow on 4145. Now it's north and south, anywhere between about Highway 100 all the way up to Highway 175, Appleton Avenue. You're going to be on the brakes. Right now, an extra 4 minutes on your ride from 145 Fond du Lac Avenue all the way down to the zoo, and just a couple extra minutes the other way from Highway 100 up to about Capitol Drive is a bit slow. And we are lightening up on that other slow spot we saw earlier on the Brock Freeway south of Moreland Road. Still going to be a touch on the brakes as you work your way to the southwest towards Racine Avenue, but then you are free in the clear as you head through Muskego towards Mugwanago. Everywhere else is looking great. It's been a relatively quiet afternoon. No major incidents or delays.
Well, I feel like he can sum up this forecast in one word. Let's check in right now with Chief Meteorologist Brian Iznansky over at TMJ4. Brian, I don't know, are you going with fabulous, fantastic, outstanding, wonderful? What's your choice?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I have one word for it. Well, maybe I do. Golf. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm out at Fairways for Families here at Fire Ridge in Grafton. It's obviously a fundraiser for the Ozaukee County Food Alliance, and again, partnering up here with TMJ4, and it's a wonderful day out here. It's absolutely perfect, guys.
Okay, so how are you playing then, since we have the forecast covered?
We're turning it around. We just had back-to-back birdies. It's fantastic.
Let's go.
Do you have birdie juice?
Yeah, no birdie juice for me. I have to actually go on air at 4 o'clock, but my golf partners here are making sure they're hitting the fireball up. Everything's great.
Oh, yeah. Is that the fireball of choice? See, I don't usually do, the birdie juice of choice, I should say, because I don't usually do the birdie juice, but I know my mother has a little fireball in her her golf bag. So now I'm wondering now that you said it and she doesn't.
It warms up the belly, that's for sure. But no, we're starting to heat up here. We've had 3 birdies in the last 4 or 5 holes, all for a good cause. I mean, I don't see a cloud in the sky. It is absolutely beautiful out here, and that's the way it's going to be for much of the week, guys.
Well, you deserve a bit of a forecast break. You had to obviously go through a lot of the serious weather we had earlier this year, but September really, apart from the cool stretch, it's been about as, I mean, you obviously have your work cut out every single day, but when you get a stretch like we have right now, it's certainly nothing to shake your head at, I suppose.
No, it's you got a blocking high pressure system, and we've had many different patterns here. A few weeks ago, we slipped into that early fall pattern. Now we've had more of a late summer pattern, and honestly, I think the second half of September, most of this second half of September will end up being above average, and things will eventually pretty much even out. We just had that early arrival of fall, and now we get some late summer, guys.
Okay, so as I look at the forecast here, I was saying if we look at our 5-day forecast, 4 of the days say mostly sunny. On the 5th day, we have partly cloudy, but I was trying to argue that really means partly sunny as well, right?
Partly, okay, so I get this question a lot. Partly cloudy still means more sun than clouds, usually like a 66% or roughly sunshine and 33 clouds. Now, partly sunny would be vice versa of that. So actually, partly cloudy is more sunny than partly sunny, if that makes any sort of sense.
Of course. Oh, my gosh, I love that.
It's the jokes that I get here out on a golf course, along with I wish I could had a job to be wrong and still get paid and all the other ones. But it's totally fine. It comes with the territory, and sometimes we line ourselves up with it with this partly cloudy, partly sunny stuff.
I love the answer, though I do feel like we need to replay it so people can hear it again. They're like, wait, what did he say exactly?
I think all you need to know is that partly cloudy still means more sun than clouds, and then partly sunny is still slightly more clouds than sun.
Okay.
So it's kind of, yeah, it's messed up.
It's 2 thumbs
You'll never
up,
get
I'd
it.
say.
I even forget sometimes.
Hey, did anybody send you in pictures of the Northern Lights? Because I saw some really great shots.
I got some on social media. Definitely a bunch of people saw them last night. Things line up. Sometimes when you have a scenario where like you think there's enough solar energy and everything's perfect, it still doesn't pan out. So I was glad to see that last night. It actually did. It's really tough to predict, and sure looks like if you got outside of the city lights, they were visible last night.
So that's my follow-up then to that, Niz, because you've been in the area long enough to know if there's any secret spots. I know the common advice is get out of the city, get out into a rural area, but across our rural sections of southeast Wisconsin, is there an area that you found over the years when we have these Northern Lights blips that's a great, perfect spot to catch them?
I mean, honestly, it's near the lake, actually, because obviously you have no lights out over Lake Michigan for the most part. So if you can find yourselves at a place like, let's say, Harrington Beach, you're somewhere away from the city lights and you're along the lake, that's usually a really good vantage point if you face to the north. But the key, no matter where you are, is get away from any sort of light pollution.
Well, I feel like at this point, it is probably your time to hit the ball. We got to get you back out there on the course.
They're waiting for me right now. Let's see here. I think a 140 shot 9-iron. I'll let you know how it goes, guys.
Okay, all right.
Don't forget
Good luck.
the carry.
All right, guys. We'll do. See you guys.
It's Brian Nazansky, chief meteorologist over at TMJ4. He's doing double duty. He's playing golf. He's doing the forecast for us. How about that?
What a tough week for Niz.
Not doing the birdie juice, though. You can't do it when you have a cast to do in a couple hours, right?
Yeah, no.
Time right now is 1:43. Coming up next, a warning from Emmett Smith.
Pull up to Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee and shoot your shot at big wins for Sweet Ticket September. Play with your rewards card for entries. Score triple on drawing Thursday. Win slam dunk prizes like cash, reward plate, and tickets to see the Milwaukee Bucks in action. Sweet Ticket September. You ready for this? Only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Why settle for just a job when you can have a career in the exciting automobile industry? The Auto Dealers Association of Mega Milwaukee new car dealer members have service technicians, sales, administrative, and management positions available now. The first word in career is car, and one of the best places to find a great career opportunity is at an Adam member new car dealer.
For current great paying job opportunities, visit adam.com/jobs. That's ADAMM.com/jobs.
At AUG Prep North, we know the only way to build the future is on the foundation of excellence and faith. AUG Prep North, built for academic, artistic, and athletic excellence, made for more. Learn more at augprep.org.
You've probably been hearing a lot of buzz about tariffs.
I haven't.
Really?
What's a tariff?
It's a tax on imported goods.
It makes these imported goods more expensive.
Oh, that explains why I've never heard of tariffs.
Why?
Because 92.3% of the furniture at Penny Mustard is made in the USA.
True.
In fact, most of it is built by local craftsmen and women right here in the Midwest.
And locally sourced furniture will never have a tariff on it.
So when you invest in new furniture at Penny Mustard, you won't be paying extra taxes and shipping costs.
Besides, tariffs or no tariffs, our American-made Penny Mustard Strong furniture will last generations longer than IFE-made furniture shipped in from overseas.
You get so much more for your money when you buy American.
Tell me more about these tariffs.
Can we talk about this later? I'm so tired of hearing about them.
Oh, so I guess you can say that all this talk about tariffs is taxing.
I see what you did there.
PennyMustard.com.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
For your next night out, revel in the fusion of artistry and flavor with Sushi at St. Kate, offering guests an elevated experience where freshness and creativity converge in every bite. St. Kate the Arts Hotel introduces an exciting new sushi menu to its culinary repertoire. Indulge in the finest seafood, freshest ingredients, and expert craftsmanship for an inspired and delectable dining journey. Experience the art of sushi at St. Kate and learn more at stkatearts.com.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. You've heard about Tri-County Contracting and their worry-free roof tune-up. You've heard about their instant roof quote. But don't forget, Tri-County Contracting also handles windows. Our project at my home moving right along right now, and the process has been so easy and thorough. It's nice when you can trust the team you're working with and know that they are looking out for you. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and also windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
NFL legend Emmitt Smith says he and another person were defrauded out of at least $500,000 in a Ponzi scheme. Now a legal battle is underway. It's a story all of us can learn from. ABC's Jim Ryan joins us with the details. Happy Monday, Jim.
Morning, Jessica.
So, Jim, what exactly is the Dallas Cowboys Hall of Famer alleging here?
Well, he's alleging that he was urged to invest in a company that it turns out was under the scrutiny of federal regulators, Traders Domain FX. But he did. He went ahead and he contributed, made contributions, invested in this company, and ended up, he says, losing $500,000. He and a co-plaintiff, because there is a lawsuit filed now. Emmitt Smith, the NFL Hall of Famer, says that he was defrauded of $500,000, that the people behind this investment misappropriated the funds, and now he wants that money back.
What, if anything, Jim, do we know about the defendant in this case?
Well, among the defendants, one of the defendants is a guy named Jonathan Wimbrey. He is a kind of a social media star. He's a motivational speaker and author and a friend of Emmitt Smith. So when he went to Emmitt Smith, according to Smith at least, and said, hey, this is a great investment, you ought to be investing in this company, Emmitt Smith went for it and made the investment. Well, now, as we see this all falling apart, Smith has filed suit against Wimbrey and against other people, saying that they were a part of defrauding him. Well, now Wimbrey has filed a countersuit. He says that it was Emmitt Smith who defrauded him, that he's dragging his name through the mud, and that he's responsible for all of the losses that he suffered. So a lawsuit, a counter-lawsuit, and an NFL legend, his reputation's on the line now.
Isn't Emmitt Smith on his website endorsing this guy? Were they friends at one point, or was this always a business relationship?
Well, they were friends at least, and yes, on Jonathan Wimbrey's website, he did endorse him essentially or talk him up. So did J.D. Jakes and some other people who were fairly well known. I think a lot of those endorsements now have been taken down, but Wimbrey's site is still up there. His motivational speaking sessions are still available. His books are still being sold. So yeah, but these endorsements kind of disappeared.
It's interesting, Jim. Emmitt Smith has been involved in something similar. I remember during the start of the pandemic, he was really making a push to say, hey, don't fall for pandemic scams because it can happen to you. It just makes you think, like, even 5 years later, this can happen to anyone, even a high-profile athlete like himself.
Well, I think you're right. And this all, to your point, Adam, goes back to 2022. That's when these investments were being made and when Smith says he lost all this money. But, yeah, it's a cautionary tale for anybody, either a multi-millionaire NFL star or just a small investor or somebody who wants to get into investing. Let's say you get a text message from somebody saying, hey, I've got a great opportunity. You need to invest in this crypto or this gold or this company, whatever it might be. You just have to be very, very careful, and especially given technology that allows people to cold call, if you will, send unsolicited text messages, social media messages, emails urging you to invest. And if they're making promises of high returns with very little risk or making grand promises about how much money you could make over time, be very cautious about that. Do some research or just delete the text, social media message, or email altogether.
We're talking with ABC's Jim Ryan about NFL legend Emmitt Smith alleging he's the victim of a Ponzi scheme. So, Jim, what does a lawsuit claim the defendants actually did with his money?
Well, they misappropriated it. They used it for their own purposes. Typically with a Ponzi scheme, Jessica, the people perpetrating this, including Charles Ponzi, the guy for whom it was named back in the 1920s, was taking funds that investors had handed over to him, and instead of investing in whatever the commodity was or the stock was, whatever it might be, they simply keep the money or they redirect it somewhere else. Long and short, they don't invest it in the investment they said they were going to. They may give a little return to the investors to keep them on the hook, keep them giving more into this investment, but and that's sort of the allegation that Emmitt Smith is making now against not just the company that he says defrauded him, but Jonathan Wimbrey, the guy who convinced him to do it.
Are these types of scams typically, when you see them involving athletes, do you think, Jim, they're becoming more common? Do we have any data that backs it up that as athletes make more and more money and then save more and more of that money and get richer and richer, are these types of scams targeting specifically athletes becoming more common?
Well, they may be, but I think now the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, they're all trying to coach their players and their members on how not to get ripped off by this kind of thing. But keep in mind, Emmitt Smith retired 21 years ago, long before there was an internet, long before there were text messages, unsolicited text messages. By the way, he retired 21 years ago. His 18,000 rushing yard career record still stands today. That's how great this guy was. Anyway, so more athletes being involved in this sort of thing potentially, but I think they also have stopgaps now. They have the NFL and NHL and NBA commissioners and others who are helping to counsel them on how to avoid being victimized.
Has Emmitt Smith made any public statements about being deceived beyond what's in the legal filing?
He has not. And in fact, the Dallas Morning News went to him and said, hey, can you comment on this? He said he wouldn't. He said he's going to let it play out in the courts, doesn't want it playing out in the newspaper or anywhere else. So, yeah, he's being public about it insofar as he's filed a lawsuit that can be seen by the public, but not making public statements about any of it.
ABC's Jim Ryan, thanks as always.
All right. Thanks, Jessica.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Kristen Bry. If you're looking for a new dentist, you should check out my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economwalk Dental Care. Dr. Michaels is committed to providing you with the highest level of care possible. I can assure you that he will prioritize your needs no matter how sensitive, just like he did with mine. If you're due for a dental visit, Economwalk Dental Care has an $89 new patient special, so you can get the care that you need at an affordable price. In addition to my exam, Dr. Michael's staff provided a gentle, professional cleaning that left my mouth feeling smooth and rejuvenated. Listen, we all have to go to the dentist, so do not put it off any longer. Check out Economwalk Dental Care at drmichaelsdentalcare.com or give them a call at 262-567-7224. Start 2025 on a good note by feeling confident about your smile and go see my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economwalk Dental Care.
The leader in the dugout, the skipper, the man who riles up the crew with his words of inspiration.
You mean my old ass? Is that what you're saying?
Yep, that's our guy. Brewers manager Pat Murphy joins Wisconsin's Morning News every Tuesday at 8:45 for Brewers 360.
We're a team that the other team's going to feel us. You're not going to walk away from a series and not be felt. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited and Big Fish Contracting.
Loyalty, family,
Few things are more important. This is WTMJ's Steve Scafidi and Loyal Family Renovations. They saved the day after a brutal storm in Oak Creek. Hail damage, yeah, I had a lot of it. But Jeff, Jake, and the whole team, absolute pros, made the entire process smooth as can be. Let's be honest, not everyone knows how to deal with adjusters. They handle all the questions, quick answers, top-notch customer service. In just 2 days, my roof was done. If storm damage hits, call the team that made it easy for me. Loyal Family Renovations. Visit loyalfamilyrenovations.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Take note on this one. Toxic fumes are reportedly making their way in the cabins of airplanes more often. According to the Wall Street Journal, since 2017, maintenance requirements on some Airbus A320 aircraft were loosened and may have led to pilots and flight attendants getting exposed to the fumes. According to the Journal, about 10 pilots and more than 100 flight attendants have been treated with brain injuries over the last 2 decades. More now from ABC's Gio Benitez.
On most planes, air is pulled in from the outside through engines. So if any seals are worn or degraded, oils from lubricated bearings enter the air and vaporize heat, releasing unknown quantities of toxic compounds, according to the Wall Street Journal report. But not all smells or vapors are toxic. The FAA telling us they are rare. Quote, studies have shown cabin air is as good as or better than the air found in offices and homes.
Well, and I think we learned that fact about how clean the air is on a plane during the pandemic. Because remember, all of a sudden, everybody was like, oh my gosh, are people getting COVID on the plane? They're like, this person was coughing. And granted, it's never great to be next to or very close in proximity to someone who's sick and coughing on you, right? It doesn't matter where you are. But we found out during the pandemic that really the air on the plane, because of how it's circulated, is not that bad.
Compared to, we were seeing a lot of those spikes on cruise ships, I remember, if they were being parked out and people were getting sick on the ship. So you wonder that comparison. Thinking about planes specifically, it's funny. I was just on a military flight. We were doing a refueling mission. I got to fly along.
Yeah, that's right.
With the Air National Guard. And I saw along the walls of this big giant jet we were on, there was a lot of padding along the walls. And on one of the doors, it said radiation barrier, which was making me think, oh, wow, we need a radiation barrier. But it does keep that air nice and clean, and I can vouch, as recently as last week, the air on that jet was very, very nice.
Now, I will say, you don't want toxic fumes where you are, and Airbus does have a statement now out.
In a statement to ABC News, Airbus says its aircraft are designed and manufactured according to all relevant and applicable airworthiness requirements. The Journal says a neurologist has treated about a dozen pilots and more than 100 flight attendants for what has been described as brain injuries after alleged exposure to fumes on planes over the last 20 years.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1:58. Coming up next, your top local news and national headlines.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1-day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's 4 walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
I'm Brett Matchke, and you're due for service.
Richlands. Your trusted and relevant source for news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 2 o'clock. I'm Jessica Tighe. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Monday, September 15th. Your top story, calling out violent language.
I'm Adam Roberts. Troops could be heading to the Big Easy.
What a lovely day we are having. Tonight, mostly clear. We'll dip down to 63 for a low. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high of 77 near the lake, 83 inland. Still sitting at 74 degrees here in Milwaukee. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, in the wake of conservative activist Charlie Kirk's murder, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro is calling for a de-escalation of political violence. ABC's Chuck Sievertson.
Shapiro calling for the president to speak and act with moral clarity, invoking his personal experience as a target of political violence, posting a video on social media site X.
I think we need to be universal in condemning all political violence. I think that's a responsibility of all elected officials, Republicans and Democrats.
Recently, the Pennsylvania governor's home was firebombed and 2 Minnesota state lawmakers were gunned down. Shapiro says calling fellow Americans scum creates more division.
The White House responded to Shapiro's message by noting the president understands the dangers of political violence better than anyone.
Here at home, the Elkhorn School District pushing back against false claims linking an administrator in the district to a derogatory post about Kirk's death.
Superintendent Jason Tadlock says the picture of Associate Principal Cindy Rehberg was pulled from her work profile and falsely tied to a Facebook account with a different name.
All you had to do was type Cynthia Irene in on Facebook search, and you could pull up that profile. You could easily see it wasn't Cindy Rehberg.
The post sparked nearly 700 calls and voicemails directed at Rehberg.
More than likely, it was just some ignorant individual who got sloppy and didn't take their time to do it, because Cynthia Irene did not put Cindy Rehberg's picture on her post.
Nazir Spencer, WTMJ News.
New Orleans is now bracing for the arrival of National Guard troops, as detailed in a leaked Pentagon memo.
Metropolitan Crime Commission President Rafael Goyeneche says the Guard's presence in the city ahead of this year's Super Bowl allowed police to respond to calls and to make arrests, helping to keep violent crime rates down.
The incidents of violent crime were 8.6 per week. After they left, it went up to about 14.5.
Louisiana Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser says he's all for keeping New Orleans safe, but he's concerned that sending troops into the city will hurt tourism.
You worry about the stigma that there must be a real crime problem if they send in 1,000 guard down there.
Ian Ozan for CBS News, New Orleans.
A nearly quarter-century run for Milwaukee's River West Co-op and Cafe will soon come to an end.
The local grocery store and community hub will officially close on Sunday. Despite donations and loans, the co-op couldn't overcome financial challenges from the COVID-19 pandemic and growing competition from other natural food stores. The board of directors decided at a meeting last week that they would shut down the business instead of filing for bankruptcy, and no one had offered to buy the business. The co-op has been owned by members and run by volunteers for 24 years. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
A bird catches fire in Delafield.
Near the Delafield Cemetery, 600 Poplar Path. Apparently, a sandhill crane flew into a power line. I guess somewhat caught fire and was smoking on the ground.
Yikes. That audio, courtesy of Broadcastify. The crane died Saturday after it hit that power line. It's unclear whether the incident caused any power disruptions.
Crazy things you can find on police scanner audio. News about your money now, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Been a good afternoon so far for the majors. The Dow holding basically served from where it ended yesterday, but it is in the green, up 13 points at 45,847. The Nasdaq, meanwhile, big jump today, up 170 points at 22,308. And the S&P 500 is up 23 this hour at 6,607. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. More details at annexwealth.com.
We can now officially say they are the playoff-bound Milwaukee Brewers. What's up immediately next for the team? That's coming up. Sports, traffic, and weather right after this. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 2:04.
Hi, this is Jeff Levering with the Brewers Radio Network. Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's trusted name in home improvement, does more than just top-quality roofing. They're your go-to for maintenance-free siding and energy-efficient windows, too. Ridgetop has expert credentials with leading manufacturers like Pella, James Hardie, and LP Smart Siding. For over 20 years, they delivered exceptional craftsmanship and service. Call Ridgetop Exteriors today or visit ridgetopexteriors.com. Ridgetop Exteriors, where customer service always comes first.
Ridgetop Exteriors.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Next December 2026, my wife Michelle and I are taking a Christmas trip that's been on our bucket list for more than a decade. Won't you come with us? Christmas on the Danube with Colette Tours. Beautiful river cruise to the most famous Christmas markets in Europe. December 2026 and a 2-night pre-trip extension to Prague. 6 nights on the beautiful MS Amadeus riverboat. 68 cabins, each with a great view. Stunning deck cafe, panorama bar. Will be in Vienna. The medieval castle and hillside towns of the Wachau Valley, a 200-year-old fairy tale town of Passau, Germany. John at WTMJ.com, JOHN at WTMJ.com. Send me an email. I send you the beautiful information, including pricing. Or join me at the WTMJ studios, where you can meet me and the folks from Colette on September 23rd at 6:30 downtown our studio, but you need to RSVP.
Let me show you the world. Come away with me.
John at WTMJ.com. Send me an email. I send you the info.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The playoff-bound Brewers lost the final game of their home series. Milwaukee fell 3-2 to the St. Louis Cardinals. The Brewers have the night off tonight before hosting the Angels tomorrow. They remain 5.5 games ahead of the Cubs at the top of the NL Central. And a loss for the UW Badgers, falling 38-14 to the Alabama Crimson Tide on the road. The Badgers are back home Saturday to host Maryland and open up Big Ten play. Badger Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited. Siding and a whole lot more.
To the roads now, your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. It has been a relatively quiet start to your afternoon drive these last few hours. We do still have our usual slowdown on 4145 anywhere south from Fond du Lac Avenue all the way down to past Capitol Drive towards Burleigh is going to be a touch slow. An extra 4 minutes right now on your ride from Highway Q towards the zoo. In general, starting to see a little bit of a touch of volume buildup right now. People starting to head out the door off to home. Also still have our small slow spot on 43, the Rock Freeway, southwest of Moreland Road. That's been the case for about an hour and a half now and still remains so. Just a touch slow. Once you get past Racine Avenue and heading west, you are free and clear. Everywhere else is looking all right.
You know what's looking more than all right?
What's that?
This forecast. Woo! The WTMJ 5-day forecast looks fabulous, everybody. Tonight, mostly clear, low of 63. Tomorrow, much like today, mostly sunny, high of 77 near the lake, 83 inland. Tomorrow and Thursday, mostly sunny, high in the upper 70s. And then Friday, partly cloudy, which, by the way, don't focus on those clouds. It's only partly cloudy.
We have that on good authority by NIS. More sun than clouds.
That means, yep, more sun than clouds. You got it. High of 72 on Friday. And right now, we're still sitting at 74 in Milwaukee.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Tighe, and in for Greg Metzik, it's Adam Roberts.
You gotta focus on the good, Adam. So we're focusing on that Friday, not the clouds. It's the sun.
Always about the sun, and plenty of it this week. I know we sound like a broken record, but we talked earlier in the show about how September is that third bowl of porridge. That my words, not yours. But it really is, and this is kind of emblematic of that, I think. Upper 70s all week, and I'm not even seeing, if you look past that, in the extended forecast, if you will, any chances of rain, maybe like 10, 20%, but that we discount that usually anyway.
No, we focus on the good. Like, you could focus on the Brewers losing. No. We're focusing on the Brewers being playoff bound and the opportunity to win the next game.
Yeah, and we got the Angels coming to town starting tomorrow, then off to St. Louis, San Diego, and Cincinnati. That sounds to me like some W's could be in the forecast. By the way, if you're keeping track, the record for franchise wins 96. We're at 91 right now, so do your simple math. You got to win 5 of your remaining 12 games.
Focusing on the good here on Wisconsin's Midday News and the big stories.
Here's your top 2 at 2 on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1, she ran for Wisconsin governor in 2018. Now she's doing it again. Today, Wisconsin State Senator Kelda Roys announced she's entering the race for governor. In her campaign video, she said extremists are putting our nation's democracy at risk.
Wisconsin, we're in the fight of our lives for our democracy and our kids' future. But I've been in this fight before. When Scott Walker attacked Wisconsin workers, I was there. Now, as extremists attack our freedoms while families struggle to get by, we're fighting back together.
We never contemplated having such a lawless person at the helm of our country.
Kelda Roys is an attorney and small business owner. She represents Madison in the state Senate. Roys joins a growing list of gubernatorial candidates: Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley, and longtime beer vendor Ryan Sternad on the Democratic side. Washington County Executive Josh Schoeman and business owner Bill Berrien are the candidates announced so far on the Republican side. Governor Tony Evers is retiring at the end of his term.
Number 2, you just mentioned beer, Jessica, and you also mentioned we focus on the good news, and there is some good news in Milwaukee if you're a fan of craft brewing, a grand opening at a very visible location. Recall 2024 was a very rough year for the industry, but we have another craft brewery coming to Milwaukee this week. Lombardi Brewing planning on their grand opening Thursday in the Menominee Valley. This is the former City Lights Brewing building, the big brick one, which you can see if you're driving on 94, either east or west. Hard to miss. The company ownership, by the way, if that name sounds like, does that have any connection with Vince Lombardi? It does. Vince's grandson, John, part of the ownership group for Lombardi Brewing. Now, management's still trying to work out what the full soft open's going to look like. Their patio, by the way, will not be open right away. So if this good weather continues, and looking at that forecast for Thursday, it should, you won't be able to drink outside, but a good news story nonetheless. Of course, City Lights closing early in 2025 after announcing they would shut down in 2024. That year, by the way, also saw the closures of Mobcraft, which is supposed to reopen, Enlightened Brewing, which we don't know what will go in that space yet, and remember, Company Brewing in River West also shut down. And I do have on good authority, as I've checked the licenses page for the city of Milwaukee, there is an application for that space on Center Street for a sports bar and lounge, tentatively called Diaspora, that would be opening at that location. That according to city license applications for the city of Milwaukee.
Well, cheers to that news.
Indeed.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 2:13. She had a misdiagnosis, and she wants you to learn from the story. A very personal health story, now in film, and you can see it this weekend. That's coming up.
There are a lot of lawyers in Wisconsin, but only the top 5% are awarded the distinction of super lawyer, including 94% of the attorneys in our firm. In fact, 25 of our attorneys were named super lawyers last year, as well as the #1 lawyer in Wisconsin, and 6 more were named rising stars. Not every car accident case requires a super lawyer, but why settle for anything less on your case? Habish, Habish & Rotier, national reputation, hometown service. Visit habish.com for more information.
Come catch the final battle of the regular season when the Brewers host the Reds Friday, September 26th through Sunday, September 28th. We're celebrating the best fans in the game on Saturday, the 27th at Fan Appreciation Night, presented by Toyota. Plus, if you're one of the first 30,000 fans through the gates, you'll take home a Brewers Tumbler giveaway too, presented by Quick Trip. Come close out the regular season with the crew. Get your seats today at brewers.com/tickets.
Start your journey now. Don't wait. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Schedule your free consultation to lose up to 1 pound of fat per day. No drugs, no injections, no exercise. It's safe, fast, and costs a fraction of those injections. Book your free consultation at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Accurate Basement Repair. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Doctor and a mammogram missed the cancer. Now a Milwaukee woman has written and produced an animated short film based on that breast cancer experience. And this weekend, there's a chance for you to see it. Kristen Catalano joins us live in the studio. Thanks so much for joining us, Kristen.
Thanks for having me.
So your film is called Malignant Practice. Can you walk us through the story? Because it's a little bit about you. It's a little bit about a family member.
Yes. So it started off being about my cousin, who happens to be my best friend, too. She went to the doctor at 39 years old with a lump on her breast, and the doctor told her that it was nothing to worry about. And several months later, she was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer.
And I'm sure there are a lot of women listening right now who are thinking, you know, I've gone in and I've had a little experience, and you worry about it, and then the doctor's supposed to tell you if it's okay, that you should feel okay about it, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You have a message. You want to make sure that people are standing up for themselves and really asking questions.
Yeah. And then the next year, ironically, my sister, she had probably 7 mammograms. They were all clear, and she felt a thickening on the side of her breast, and she pushed for further testing, and they did an ultrasound, and then she was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. Because mammograms do not pick up cancer with women with dense breast tissue. And that's one of the big things I'm pushing for in this film, to change legislation so insurance covers MRIs for women with dense breast tissue, because mammograms, it's kind of like they say finding a snowflake in a snowstorm. It's all white. They can't detect the cancer when there's dense breast tissue.
And there have been a couple of changes with that. I mean, now you get a letter alerting you that you have dense breasts, and it's a possibility that not everything was picked up. But sometimes people read those letters and then you go on about your day. You're like, okay, got the mammogram done. It looks good. And hopefully next time it is too.
Exactly. And it's so expensive to get an MRI, and insurance doesn't cover it. So who's going to pay $5,000 out of pocket or whatever it's going to cost? You know, most people will forego that and say, well, my mammogram was okay.
Kristen, you were telling us the film is called Malignant Practice, and you were saying before we came on here, you've been working on this for a decade, right? 10 years?
Yes.
Can you share a bit of the back and forth experience? Because working on anything for a decade, you're bound to encounter some peaks and valleys across the process of making something that clearly was a labor of love.
Yeah, one of the most interesting things that happened was while I was interviewing doctors and healthcare professionals, I spoke to a genetic counselor, and we did my whole background, and she said that I would qualify to get an MRI based on my family history. And so when it was time for my mammogram, I asked my doctor if I could get an MRI instead. Well, they gave me the MRI, and that detected a stage 1 tumor inside of my breast, and I did the follow-up mammogram, and nothing was detected at all. So if I wasn't making this film, I wouldn't have found that stage 1 tumor, and I most likely would have been stage 3 as well by the time it was detected.
What is it like for you to take your story, your cousin's story, to take these 3 stories and put them together, not only in a film, but an animated film? And actually, if you're watching us on streaming right now, you can see a little bit of it. You've got various clips that we have going up here of your film, Malignant Practice. What was that like, and how do you think doing it in this way, in animated form, helps deliver your message?
So that was a choice way at the beginning, was to make most of it animated. I wanted to kind of blend live action with animation, but it's really difficult to watch somebody going through treatments and somebody really sick, and especially when it's your best friend. And so I knew I didn't want to film that. And I happened to meet Andy, who was the animator at a Milwaukee film event, and pitched him the story, and he was on board right away. And so it just happened naturally.
Can you speak a bit to the experience of working with Milwaukee Film, such a core, iconic staple of our arts and entertainment industry, not just in Milwaukee, but the entire southeast Wisconsin region?
Yeah, they helped so much with my film. I won a Pitch Your Doc competition way at the beginning. That was probably 9 years ago or something. And they gave me $1,000 grant. And then later I won a Brico Forward Fund, and they gave me $15,000 grant. And all of that was given to the animator. I mean, he obviously deserves much more than that for all the work he did. I mean, animating a 34-minute short with all the back and forth and changing things. Right. And he's just amazing. Andy just did so much hard work. He's just amazing. Yeah.
Have you been able to show the other people who are involved in this, whose stories kind of come into one? Have you been able to show them this film? And if so, what's the reaction?
Yeah, so they've watched it, and people that have been involved and helped have watched it. And it's interesting. Anyone that has had an experience with breast cancer, either themselves or somebody close to them, they all feel like this is their story. And that was kind of the point why we named the main character Jane Doe, because it's every woman's story. This could happen to anybody. And that's probably the biggest push in the film, is be your own healthcare advocate. If you think something's off, your instincts are more valuable than any doctor, anything a doctor could tell you.
And to follow up on that, I know just seeing in both my family and just hearing from friends that, there's pressure when you go into any medical institution and you're hearing something that just doesn't feel right. We're always told, trust your gut, trust your instinct. But when it's the doctor saying, oh, don't worry about it, it's fine, there can be that pressure to raise a hand and feel like maybe they are onto something. Can you speak a bit to just overcoming that and saying, no, I am my biggest advocate and I need to say something?
I mean, it's so easy to want to believe your doctor, too, when you don't want there to be something wrong, But I guess just talking to maybe family members and friends and don't keep it all internalized, expressing your concerns to others may give you the confidence to go back, get a second opinion, get a third opinion. There's so many online resources now, too, that there's chat groups and everything. You can get more advice to, I want to get this test. I want to get this test. And
I think that's great, too, because even if it isn't you necessarily, we all have a family member who's staunch and stubborn and just is not sometimes willing to accept that there is something going on. So it's great advice, too, to flip it around. And if you know someone in your life who maybe is blinders on about something, to be an advocate for them as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like when you go to these doctor appointments and you're diagnosed with something, you should always have somebody with you, because when they're giving you all of the details and the facts, you're barely listening,
Been there.
You're so overcome with your diagnosis.
I want to share this with you because we just had somebody, a fan from the 414, write in and say, same thing happened to me back in 2009. I had a mammogram because I had a lump. I was told it was nothing. My OBGYN said, go and get it checked again, because my mother had died at the age of 40 of breast cancer and my grandmother had breast cancer. So I went back up again and they told me I had stage 3 breast cancer.
Yeah.
So when you hear that story, does that just make you feel like so many other women can feel themselves in your story, this short animated film?
Yeah, absolutely.
How can people go this weekend? This is part of Milwaukee Film Festival's Dialogues Documentary Festival. How can people see it?
So it's playing Sunday at 2:30 p.m. at the Oriental Theater, and you can get tickets online. They're $15 for a general admission ticket. Otherwise, you can get a pass and see more than one film. But yeah, that's the only place that it's showing right now. We're hoping that there's going to be more festivals and more maybe organizations that will want to show it as well after this.
Do you know which, because the Oriental, for those who haven't been, has 3 cinemas, the main cinema and then 2 on the sides. Do you know which one of the 3 it will be in?
It's in the main cinema, so there'll be plenty of seats.
Mm-hmm.
Real quickly, before we let you go here, you had mentioned that you would like legislation change. What are you doing? Because I do think it's so important. What are you doing to try to make that happen?
So on the panel, there's actually one of the members, her name is Linda, and she's from the Wisconsin Breast Cancer Coalition, and she's been fighting that little thing you said before about at the bottom of your mammogram you have dense breasts.
Right.
She did that.
She did. That was her. Okay.
Yeah. So now she's fighting for insurance coverage for women with dense breast tissue to be able to get supplemental screenings like MRIs.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your work, and thank you for sharing this very deeply personal story. That's Kristen Catalano, writer and director, and really producer in almost everything but the animation that we're seeing here.
And the music.
And the music of Malignant Practice, which you can see this Sunday. It's part of Milwaukee Film Festival's Dialogues Documentary Festival. Thanks so much for being here and sharing your story.
Thank you so much.
Time right now is 2:25.
We see you out there making the most of every moment, one big bright idea at a time. At Blaine's, we're glad to be part of it by offering best-in-class products and solutions at unbeatable farm and fleet prices. Right now, during our 70th anniversary sale, OmniFilter water filtration systems are 10% off. Rewards members save 15%. And 5 gallons of Blaine's brand premium tractor fluid, $49.99. Rewards members save an extra $3. Find value on the things you value. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Being original.
Vince Vitrano for Hunt's Flooring in Greenfield, and I just got this message from my team there they wanted to share. With the recent flooding in Milwaukee, so many in our community are dealing with unexpected damage to their homes. At Hunt's Flooring, we want our neighbors to know they are not alone. We're here to help. From emergency flooring removals to replacing water-damaged carpet, hardwood, or vinyl, our team is ready to guide homeowners through every step, from cleanup to new installation. Visit Hunt's Flooring on Highway 100 in Greenfield or get started now at huntsflooring.com.
For your fellow fanatics and your number one fans. For your game day compatriots and your everyday companions. For your personal cheerleaders and your personal heroes. For the reasons you smile, get covered with dental and vision insurance from Delta Dental of Wisconsin and Delta Vision. Learn more at deltadentalwi.com today.
Most Americans would be healthier if we didn't change our clocks twice a year. CBS's Stacey Lynn reports.
According to a new study out of Stanford University, it can really mess up the body's circadian rhythm.
So you've got this central circadian clock that's in your brain. It helps control the timing of pretty much everything in your body.
Jamie Zeitzer says they found our health would be better if we stick with permanent standard time.
Strokes would go down by around 300,000 and obesity could go down by around 2.5 million people.
And he says while a permanent standard time would be best over a permanent daylight saving time,
both are healthier for you than what we're currently doing with this biannual shift.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
Oh, geez, let the debate begin again.
3 things are certain in this world, I think Ben Franklin said: death, taxes, and debate over daylight savings time.
Well, we still have, what do we have? I guess less than 2 months until we change the clocks. November 2nd.
Early November, yep.
That's going to be here before you know it, though. Woo! 2:27 is the time. Coming up next, we've got your top local headlines and national news as well.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Does our Inspired Closets team make dreams come true?
Every day, Dan. From consultation to design to installation, the whole process is built around our clients.
Which is how we earn our 5-star reviews. It's our team that makes the difference.
Inspired Closets is more than just organization. It's an investment in you.
Get started today at inspiredclosets.com.
Inspired Closets Milwaukee, a wife and husband team.
Hey, John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. It's kindness, it's compassion, it's very specialized training. Their mission is to transform the culture of care, and they're doing that every single day. I've been in their places. I've seen how they love and take care of people with cognitive decline, Alzheimer's, or other related dementia symptoms. In part at Azura, they do such a great job because their staff goes through specialized training. They're going to take great care of you. Locations throughout southeast Wisconsin, Wisconsin-based, family-owned. It's Azura.
Hey, boaters! It's a boater's do-it-yourselfer's dream store. Kendor Marine stocks thousands of boat parts and supplies. Just about everything you'd ever need to keep your boat up and running. Whether it's common or something you think might be discontinued, you can bet on us having it. So don't be surprised when we have just what you need. I'm Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Hey, boaters!
Some call them oddball parts, but we call them a huge part of our inventory. Dave Doro here from Kendor Marine. With thousands of boat parts and supplies stocked right here in our store, you won't have to look elsewhere. If you need it, chances are we got it, along with expert advice to get your job done right. Hey, boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Botox can do more for men than just smooth out wrinkles. It can help reduce chronic migraines, stress-related facial tension, and even excessive sweating. Come out to Brotox and Beers, Saturday, September 13th at Sweet Talks in Menominee Falls. It's an event for men who want to feel better, perform better, and look sharp without the fuss. Watch college football, get treated with Botox in the low-key, no-pressure setting of Sweet Talks, then have a brew when you're done. Spots are limited, so reserve yours now at sweettalks.com. That's SWEETTOX.com.
It's 2:30. I'm Jessica Tighe. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Monday, September 15th. Your top story, appearing in court over election fraud.
I'm Adam Roberts, running for governor again.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In Utah, 22-year-old suspect Tyler Robinson set to be formally charged tomorrow for the fatal shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. ABC's new legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer says it could include federal hate crime charges.
You can't have a hate crime based on politics, but Charlie Kirk's religion and politics are so intertwined. I could see an argument for this being a motivated based on his religion and the mixture of his politics. The federal government could make a hate crime allowing for murder as well.
In the wake of the Kirk shooting, GOP House Speaker Mike Johnson today says House Republicans will attach $58 million to a short-term measure to fund the government, all to pay for extra security for the judicial and executive branches. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent signaled a framework deal after talks with a China delegation to avert a ban on TikTok in the U.S. That if China-based ByteDance doesn't sell. President Trump and China's leader expected to hold talks this week. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 2:31.
A former Milwaukee Police Department employee charged with election fraud makes her initial court appearance.
The 45-year-old is charged with election fraud after voting in Milwaukee while falsely reporting her address. She was actually living in Brown Deer. She was also employed with the Milwaukee Police Department at the time, where she was getting paid an extra 3% for living in the city. If found guilty, Patterson could face a fine up to $10,000, imprisonment for up to 3 years and 6 months, or both. Her signature bond was set at $5,000. Her preliminary hearing is set for October 3rd. Elizabeth Linton and WTMJ News.
Former Illinois Congressman Joe Walsh saying he first met conservative activist Charlie Kirk when he was just 16. Walsh becoming a political mentor to Kirk, helping him start Turning Point USA, guiding early activism, and Walsh joining WTMJ.
At 16 years old, Charlie Kirk was studying congressional districts around the country. He was a political nerd in the best sense of the word. He was idealistic. He was 20, 30 years beyond his age. You knew he was going to be something, and it was just a real joy and an honor to kind of take him under my wing.
Kirk's funeral is being planned for later this week in Arizona. President Donald Trump is expected to attend.
Several Wisconsin workers are facing backlash over social media posts about Kirk's death.
In Milwaukee, Nextdoor Childcare fired an employee who criticized Kirk's pro-gun views online. In Wausau, nonprofit leader Callie Wolk lost her positions after posting well-deserved with clapping emojis. A Laconia high school teacher is on leave for calling Kirk a racist and white nationalist. In Cudahy, the school district is investigating an employee over a social media post made outside school hours. Nazir Spencer, WTMJ News.
Decision Wisconsin. Another Democrat has thrown their name into the race for Wisconsin's next governor.
I'm Kelda Roy. And for 25 years, I've been fighting for Wisconsin alongside you and delivering.
Kelda Royce previously ran for governor in 2018, finishing third in the Democratic primary. She's now the fourth Democrat to enter the race following Governor Tony Evers' decision to not seek a third term.
Now, with everything on the line, Wisconsin needs a governor who's been training for this moment her whole career and who knows how to deliver.
There are currently 2 Republicans who have announced campaigns, while others in both parties are still considering a run. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
Filling out the leadership team at Milwaukee Public Schools. Superintendent Dr. Brenda Caselius appoints Brian Litzy as Chief Family, Community, and Partnership Officer, Dominic Maniscalco as the new Chief Human Resources Officer, and Dr. Keely Roberts as the new Chief of Schools. All 3 complete roles required by the MPS operational audit ordered by the governor. Even though all three have already started in their jobs, final approval still has to come from the Milwaukee Board of School Directors.
We have a new crash on the freeway system. We'll get you the roads plus your sports and weather coming up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Times 2:34.
Bank 5-9 has a mission to make lives better. They make it a priority to give back to their customers, communities, and their employees. In fact, Bank 5-9 was just honored again by the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel as a top workplace. That makes 16 years in a row. Want to learn more about working with the great people at Bank 5-9? Visit bank59.com/careers. Equal Opportunity Employer, member FDIC.
Paying you to live more comfortably. A deal you do not want to pass up. Vince Vitrano for USA Insulation. They will insulate your walls from the exterior. No disruption inside your home. Blow in loose fiberglass in the attic, plus air seal everything. Most homeowners feeling a difference within 24 to 48 hours. And with government rebates, you could save 40 to 60% or more. No work for you to do. USA Insulation will process everything. Visit usainsulation.net. Start saving today.
USA Insulation. Neck and back surgeries can be risky. Your spine deserves the best. Professional athletes trust Neurospine Center of Wisconsin, including baseball, where surgeon Dr. Brandon Rebels helped get Milwaukee's MVP back on the field for a stellar season. We can help you too, with the top nationally rated spine surgeons in the state for quality outcomes. You can trust the professionals at Neurospine Center of Wisconsin. Get a second opinion in just a few clicks. Now offered virtually throughout Wisconsin. Visit nscwi.com. Neurospine Center of Wisconsin. Your spine health is our passion.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Brewers took 2 out of 3 from the Cardinals, dropping the series finale Sunday 3-2. But the team is still riding high after clinching a playoff berth over the weekend.
The Brewers are officially postseason bound, and now the power of friendship can reach a whole new level. Christian Yelich explains.
We're this kind of team because of how much we care for each other and how we play for each other and how good of friends we are. We have the opportunity to be friends for life. Right? We go and do this whole thing and go where we want to go. Everybody in this room is friends for life.
His speech from the post-game celebration as the Brewers toasted to the 7th trip to the playoffs in the last 8 years. From American Family Field, I'm Dominic Cotroneo.
A day off today for the Brew Crew as they start a 3-game series against the Angels tomorrow night at American Family Field.
To the roads we go, your WTMJ time saver traffic. We do have a new incident up on the board. We got a crash on the ramp from Holt to 94 southbound. It looks like a red minivan may be involved with this, and also part of the metal barricade looks like it's in the on-ramp to the freeway right now. Do have some people out there working on the scene, so just be mindful. It isn't a closed ramp, but this does look like it's taking up a good chunk of it. So just be very careful if you're heading out on that area. It's a red minivan, looks like involved in this crash on the ramp from Holt to 94 South. Elsewhere, we still got our slow spot. Very heavy traffic right now on 4145 South from Fond du Lac Avenue all the way down to Burleigh. Right now, about an extra 7 minutes on your ride from Highway Q down to the zoo. Also going to see some volume the other direction from about Highway 100 up towards, looks like Capitol Drive right now. And some general volume buildup picking up on 94 West out of downtown past the stadium. Just going to be a quick tap on the brakes between about 35th Street and Mitchell Boulevard.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. That's all you need to know about the forecast. You want some more details? Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, mostly clear. We'll dip down to 63 for our low, but just a fabulous afternoon here. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, lovely as well. High of 77 near the lake, 83 inland. Wednesday, mostly sunny, high of 78. Thursday, mostly sunny, high of 77. And then Friday, hardly cloudy.
Oh, scared me.
No, it's going to be really nice. It's going to be, it's not mostly sunny, but it's going to be more sun than clouds on Friday. High of 72. And right now, let me do a little refresh because we've been sticking at 74 throughout the whole show. And look at that. We finally moved up one notch. Now sitting at 75 degrees in Milwaukee. It looks like there's a deal to keep TikTok up and running here in the U.S. Today, officials with the Trump administration said they've reached a framework of a deal with the Chinese when it comes to the ownership of TikTok.
We have a framework for a TikTok deal. The two leaders, President Trump and Party Chair Xi will speak on Friday to complete the deal.
So that's the Treasury Secretary. He spoke this morning from Madrid after meeting with a delegation from China. And we have some new details. So we know Friday will be another big day for developments, but he stayed tight-lipped about who will take ownership of the wildly popular social media platform.
We're not going to talk about the commercial terms of the deal. It's between two private parties, but the commercial terms have been agreed upon.
So how did we get here? Congress passed a law that would ban TikTok in the U.S. unless it was bought by an American company. But President Trump has repeatedly extended that deadline set into the law. The deadline looming now, if you can call it that, it doesn't really feel like a deadline, but it ultimately is Wednesday, so 2 days from now. But remember this, Adam, I mean, there was real fear months ago that TikTok would be shut down here in the U.S.
I think what was so interesting to me watching that unfold as we went through last year and then early this year, when it did go away for about 24 hours, was just that visceral reaction to, and we've seen apps come and go in popularity. Facebook, when it started, seemed like could do no wrong, and then Twitter was the big one, and then Snapchat for a while, remember those days. But TikTok feels different in just the way that it really has changed short-form content. And as you mentioned earlier in the show, people make income, and I think that's the big difference.
People here in Milwaukee make a living, not just income. People in our area and across the country make a living, make a lot of money in some cases just on TikTok. And that's why there was a real fear for a while. I mean, we talked to a couple of TikTokers, as I would call them, here in the Milwaukee area. We brought them on the show, and they were making a plan B in case of shutdown. But I don't think people are feeling that way now.
No.
I mean, just last month, the White House joined TikTok. We brought you that news right here on Wisconsin's Midday News. Remember the first post from the White House? In case you forgot.
Every day, I wake up determined to deliver a better life for the people all across this nation. I am your voice.
Hard to forget that one.
Sounds like the start to a rap single.
It kind of does with the beat. That was the first TikTok post from the White House account less than a month ago on August 19th. That account, I was checking it out today because I remember that day writing that story and looking at how many in just like a couple of hours the White House had already grabbed, and it kept going up. I mean, I had to change the number like 5 different times before it even hit air. But the account now, as of today, has 960,000 followers, and it's been up less than a month.
Couldn't even get to 1 million. Come on.
It's gonna get there for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll keep you posted on the developments, but that's what we have for now, a framework of a deal. I'm going to put that in quotes for TikTok. And the deadline coming up on Wednesday. We'll get more details on Friday about that. 2:42 is the time. Up next, a message from Bob.
No matter what we were doing, the Brewer game was always on. Kind of the background of my childhood. I wore number 17.
Oh, you did? I didn't know that was my number.
Yep. This is my friend Jim Gantner. Jim was always my favorite player. We did Jim's roof up in Eden.
Right. The great job he does on homes. Most important is honesty, integrity, and doing a great job.
See how Big Fish Contracting is renovating homes and redeeming an industry at bigfishcontracting.com.
This September, test dress any mattress at Steinhafels and you'll get a $20 restaurant gift card. Plus, Steinhafels will donate $20 to Special Spaces Wisconsin, creating dream bedrooms for kids with cancer. Stop in this month, enjoy a night out, and help make a difference.
Your first night camping alone. The new tent, fully set up. Your bug spray, barely keeping up. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free overdraft protection transfers. So when you bought all those supplies and lost track of your spending, we had you covered. You got this with free overdraft protection transfers from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
It's like you don't want to even do anything anymore. You lay in bed in the morning, putting off the pain. You put off your workouts. You put off your walks. And yard work, that's just not even an option anymore. As we speak, pain is taking away more and more from your life. And unless you take action, it's going to get worse. And that's no way to live. Not when there's a Rejuvenex clinic nearby. Because the power of Toradol, joined with the wonder of hyaluronic acid, can alleviate your pain. And it can allow you to start living your life again. This is Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas. At as low as $65 per injection per joint, Rejuvenex treatments are affordable. They're FDA approved. And in many cases, our patients pay nothing at all because insurance, including Medicare and Medicaid, pay for them. If your pain just won't go away, you should call Rejuvenex today.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Google reviews will tell you it's worth a try.
John Mercure here for CertaPro Painters. They painted the outside of our house. It was fantastic. I've got a big deck. They really had to navigate on 2 levels. The guys took their time. They paid attention to detail. They did it right around the deck. My whole house looks fantastic. Trim and siding, it's great. It's CertaPro Painters. Schedule fills up fast, so now's the time to plan your project. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C for your home or business. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. They are the best. They're CertaPro Painters.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News is here for you, bringing you the latest headlines with John McCure.
Decision Wisconsin, the top elected official in Milwaukee County, is running for governor. Does this fundamentally change anything in the race for governor?
And diving into the details with Julia Fellow.
There's a long way until August of next year with a Democratic primary. Josh Call. Everyone is waiting for him to announce.
Tune in to Wisconsin's Afternoon News, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m., only here on WTMJ.
Well, how about those Brewers? The Brew Crew became the first team in the majors to clinch a playoff spot over the weekend. Big moment came Saturday night. You were at the game, Adam.
I was, and boy, did it not look like we were going to pull that one off. But I have to learn my lesson at some point. We have seen this Brewers team so many times this year seem to pull something out of you-know-where and win a game at the last possible moment. That's been their defining characteristic, and yet I was feeling like, it just doesn't feel like they're going to be able to do it this time. To be fair, the whole game up to like the 8th inning, they were snoozing through it. It felt like it was 6-1 at one point. The 6th inning was rough. There were some errors. And I think a lot of people at American Family Field were kind of feeling like, it's Saturday night. Let's get on out of here. But then
it was your birthday.
It was.
This was a birthday game for you. You couldn't leave early.
Correct. So I'm very thankful that they were able to make it worth the time for those who did stay. And 91 wins. And who would have thought when we were talking in November and they got swept by the Yankees in that opening series, it was doom and gloom, raise the panic alarms. And now here we are, the first team to clinch a playoff spot.
Oh, man. After the game, there was a powerful moment in the clubhouse. Brewers manager Pat Murphy read a letter attributed to the late Bob Uecker. Here it is.
I got a letter today from Ueck. And before we toast, I want to read it. Thanks, Mark. Thought it was fitting. The last time that we celebrated, Ueck was with us. Howdy, boys. Never a doubt you would get this invitation. You did it by believing. Really miss you guys, and I wish I was there. Things are good. The God Almighty picked me to be on his team up here, albeit I'm the third catcher. It's a great league. No day games after night games. No shadows. But you got all the sticky you need to have up here. Told the big guy about you guys. You play hard every night. You're not afraid to play for each other. He's obviously very interested in the group with this uncommon goodness. The fact that you have the best record in baseball, the best road record in baseball, has caught his attention. You don't really need me. I know you guys really don't need me, but I've got to tell you, I'll be on the headset every night watching. And don't forget to take it all in, enjoy it, keep it light, and believe in each other. Bob Uecker. So let's toast to him and to our team, what we've achieved so far. Hey, hey. It's supposed to be non-alcoholic.
I like that little joke there at the end because for a moment it was like, oh, everybody got sad again.
Yeah, careful of the birdie juice, manager Murphy.
But we say attributed to the late Bob Uecker because now there are murmurings that Pat Murphy actually wrote the letter in Uecker's voice. WISN is reporting that. And our Dom Catronio had thoughts of that as well. But the bottom line is, no matter what, Yuke's looking down from above. He knows what's going on.
And there will be people who want to know, like, oh, did he pin it or not? Like, if it riles the team up and you let them have a moment after you've just had a big clinch, like, who cares ultimately? If that's what gets them to get through, and then you heard from Christian Yelich afterwards with a really powerful speech to the team, if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. I just want them to get across the finish line. As a longtime Brewers fan, like so many of us are, you're getting the feeling, now we've seen this script before with teams that have gone 90-plus wins and then ultimately don't cross the finish line, but something just you get a buzz. Like, remember when the Bucks went on their run? There was just a buzz.
Oh, yeah.
It was a little bit different about that season, especially during the Brooklyn series. There's just a little buzz, I think, this time with everything going around and how they're winning games, this Brewers team.
By the way, you were talking about how people all of a sudden it looks like you're going to lose and they start to go off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. I am always there in the stands. You bring up the Bucks. Oh, yeah. I am not leaving early. And it's so funny.
You are our resident Bucks #1 fan.
It can be an absolute blowout. My husband's like, you sure you don't want to go? I'm like, no. Because I remember being a kid and my mom always wanted to leave the games early to get back out to the burbs, kind of beat traffic. And I know a lot of families do that, but I'm like, as an adult, nope, I'm not leaving early. And so that game on Saturday, you didn't leave early, and then look what happened. They clinched.
You know, it's so funny. Like, we always talk about how generally in Milwaukee, our traffic's usually comparatively to other big cities fine anyway. That's no excuse. Stay through to the end.
Well, hey, you mentioned Christian Yelich as well. He did have a powerful message to the team. We've got that for you, too.
You should never take the postseason for granted. You know, people play their entire careers and never get to experience it. We've been fortunate here. You know, guys that have been here for a while, we've got to experience it a lot. We haven't accomplished what we want to accomplish, but there's something to be said for being on a postseason team, playing winning baseball. Guys that are doing it for the first time, they realize how hard that is, how much the commitment you have to make to yourself and each other, right? To mentally prepare and physically prepare to go out there and put it on the line every night. And the cool thing about these celebrations, and hopefully we have a bigger one than just this tonight, is you remember that for the rest of your life, right? And you should enjoy it and you should take it in. But it's not the end, right? Like, this team we're this kind of team because of how much we care for each other and how we play for each other and how good of friends we are. And we have the opportunity to be friends for life, right? We go and do this whole thing and go where we want to go. Everybody in this room is friends for life. And that starts with the belief. You speak it into existence, you see it, you visualize it, you believe that we can do it. We're playing with house money, right? Like Mersh said, nobody thought we could do this. Nobody expected us to be here. Everybody thought we were going to have a losing record. Look at us now.
Salud. I love that at the end. Yeah, so that was a nice message from Christian Yelich as well. And he's so right. If you think back to the beginning, we were talking about that. You think back to the beginning of the season, and it was like, ooh, okay, this could be rough.
So heads up again, we do have an off day today, so no Brewers baseball. The Angels come to town for 3 starting tomorrow, and they just got spanked by the Mariners. They just got swept in 4 games. They're not playing for anything. You want them to go and get this sweep, especially after the Rangers kind of gave it to us earlier this month. So, new series on Tuesday. Let's get to that franchise record win, too, by the way. Just need 5.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News time is 2:52. Coming up next, the new flavor of fall.
I'm very familiar with Gruber Law offices because they're always out in the community.
Gruber Law offices are known to be honest, hardworking.
They're always involved in our neighborhoods.
Gruber Law offices make our community a better place.
They are the best. For nearly 40 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped people throughout Wisconsin. If you're injured, we're here to help. One call, that's all.
Wisconsin would not be the same without Gruber Law offices.
I'm here to help. This is your WTMJ Fix-It Show host, David Nason, with expert advice for our listeners. If you're dealing with leaks, stains, or cracks in your basement, it's time to call my trusted friends at Accurate Basement Repair. And you know what? You'll get a free expert evaluation on me. You just tell them David Nason, the Fix-It guy, told me to call. Don't let basement issues mess up your home. Trust Accurate Basement Repair to get the job done right. And again, that's Accurate Basement Repair, 414-744-6900 or AccurateBasementRepair.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
One more time.
Pumpkin spice, cinnamon spice, move on over. There's a new fall flavor in town. Here's ABC's Wayne Cabot.
The new flavor of fall may very well be pecan. For the first time, Starbucks is adding pecan beverages to its full-time menu. Snickers just made its pecan bar a regular item. Orders of pecan-flavored items via DoorDash are up 28% year over year. Trying to agree on a pronunciation for pecan, as we say in the Northeast, or pecan, as some say, can make you nutty. Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
I want to interview Wayne one of these days. He's got some good scripts I've always noticed that he's written up, and I can vouch for pecan or whatever. I love pecan. My favorite cake is carrot cake, and I like when people include pecans or pecans in it.
Buckley's carrot cake, have you had that?
I have not. So I was blessed that I had a grandmother who had an excellent recipe for carrot cake, and now my wife also has a sneaky good recipe for carrot cake too, so very lucky.
Okay, that's good. You've got good recipes in the family. Well, I will say Buckley's on Milwaukee's east side, like the downtown area, they have a fabulous carrot cake. Okay. And every once in a while, they'll do carrot cake cupcakes, which are so good. The last time I had a piece over there, in fact, it was dessert. It was just, we had already gone out to dinner, and then we went for a piece of the carrot cake and a glass of wine, and it was massive too. It was like
so they do
quarter of the cake.
They do the cream cheese frosting on top, right? And it's delicate or a delicacy, I would say, like nice and thick.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's
Good.
fabulous. I didn't think we were going to go there though, because the other flavor, not just pecan, but I feel like pistachio seems to be everywhere. Have you noticed that?
I have, and it used to be just pistachio ice cream. And now, as that has expanded, you can find it in basically anything. I was never a pistachio guy, but I've warmed up to it because I had that introduction to pistachio ice cream, and so I've come to accept it. All right, this ain't too bad. I'm fine with that expanding. I did have a funny thought as I was listening to Wayne's story about just someone on DoorDash ordering just a giant sack full of pecans and having to be that DoorDash driver that's having to bring a giant bag from like Costco or something.
The other one too that I'm thinking of when we mentioned pistachio, what was it? I think just yesterday we biked to one of the newer coffee shops that's doing this. This is really big now. The Yemeni coffee.
Sure. There's Haraz on Oakland.
That's the one that we went to. We biked up to that one, and they had pistachio. That was definitely high up on their list. But I had a banana bread latte. That was
banana bread.
It was good.
Big banana bread house.
It was good, and I feel like that sounds good for fall, doesn't it? Maybe throw on a couple of chocolate chips, and boom, you're going.
Yum yum yum.
All right. Well, hey, we are going right about now. Thanks for joining us today.
Of course.
You enjoyed it on this lovely day? You didn't want to be outside?
No. Well, I did. We did suggest at the beginning that we could have the show outside, maybe someday.
All right. 2:57 is the time. Thank you so much for joining us in Wisconsin's Midday News. Wisconsin's Afternoon News with John McCure and Julia Fellow is coming up next. And Greg went golfing today, so he'll be back with us tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day, everybody.
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP. Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and